And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for being here tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over mainstream media, social media, everywhere, and I'm not sure where to start. First of all, NBA gambling scandal. This story, I feel like, is bigger than what it's being looked at as. It's really big because this is going to not only damage the integrity of the NBA, but also of sports betting. I think that was a mistake, allowing prize picks and all that kind of stuff to kind of flourish. It was a mistake because there's too much money involved, and there's people that have the ability to change it in their favor. Although it's illegal, they're still going to do it. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, we got to talk about Trump's ballroom because we got some concept images of what it's going to look like. Here's what I think. I think the ballroom will be as equally beautiful. The ballroom will be equally beautiful as the original White House. Before the East Wing, before the West Wing, before all the add-ons and little doodads and basketball courts, and it'll be as beautiful as that. I don't think it'll overtop. I don't think it'll overtake it, but it would be another White House, basically. It'd be beautiful. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, speaking about the White House and somebody who won't be there, Kamala Harris. Is she back? Is she going to run? Also, how many migrants have CDLs? We'll talk about all those things and a whole lot more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Man, oh man, the NBA stuff is crazy. And I feel like, I don't know. To me, it's probably one of the biggest stories of the year. Maybe I'm a little bit early. I've been early sometimes with certain things, but maybe a little bit early on this story because what's going to happen is it's going to be a lot of questions. Okay, NBA, the guy Terry Rozier, who has made $160 million in his career, who currently makes $25 million per year from the NBA. Why is he getting arrested? Why is he allegedly engaged in this activity? Did somebody have some kind of dirt on him? Is he being blackmailed? You got a head coach in this league, Chauncey Billups, involved in not just allegedly, if not directly betting on games, indirectly. Okay, I'm giving you information that you don't know, insider information, like Martha Stewart, and she got locked up for that. I'm doing certain things in the court. Okay, I'm gonna take these guys off the court who are my top scorers while we're winning the game, and then when I'm losing the game. We go on the 10-0 scoring run. I take my three guys that are the top scorers out of the game, and we lose that game. The NBA already had a problem with tanking. If you know what tanking is when you lose intentionally to try to get a high draft pick. Everybody wanted this 8-foot-tall kid named Victor Wembanyama. So teams were tanking. We accepted tanking as part of the game. We know that sometimes bad teams are going to lose on purpose to get a higher draft pick. That's not really in the spirit of a true competitive league. That's not really a thing that should be done if you're actually trying to play basketball for real. But we accept that, pardon me, we accept that as part of the game. But then when you go to the gambling and you got coaches involved and players involved and they're doing certain things in the game to get money, and you got guys being blackmailed. See, now it's like, what are we doing? This is WWF, WWE. I don't want to get sued by the other people. This is pro wrestling. And look, my thing is with pro wrestling, it's okay that it's scripted. It's okay that it's not real in the sense of they're not really out there trying to be the better wrestler and beat each other. It's like a choreographed thing, and it's fine. If that's the case, just say that. But if that's not the case, then you got to make a line in the sand. Either it's scripted or they're actually out there competing. And if it's scripted, then you shouldn't be able to bet on it, I don't think. Because that's going to be too easy to manipulate. Like, it needs to be a real thing you're betting on. Like, I don't know how widespread gambling has become, but I've not seen any bets be put on TV shows or movies. Like, okay, what's going to be the next plot point in the new Batman movie? How would you be able to bet on that? You're going to bet on actual competitors going out there and competing. And if they're not competing, then a lot of these industries got to go away. A lot of the prize picks, that's got to go. If prize picks has information about some of these games potentially being rigged, or there being some things going on that are anti-competitive, now they might go to court. Adam Silver, the new commissioner, well, he's been a commissioner for a long time. I don't recognize anybody but David Stern. Adam Silver, the current commissioner of the NBA, just got called up by Congress to testify. David Stern would have already had this whole thing resolved before the story made the news. Adam Silver's a bad commissioner. They knew Terry Rozier was gambling at least last year, probably 2 years ago, and they let him keep playing. They knew Jonte Porter was gambling, and they kind of like swept it under the rug. There was no real attempt to get out in front of this and say, hey, we might have a problem here. They know the guys are gambling. They've been gambling for a long time. David Stern covered it up. RIP David Stern. Adam Silver is letting the cat out the bag. And now the story done broke about Chauncey Billups, a head coach, gambling on his team, betting on his team. That is a no-go. That is a big no-go. So we're going to see how the whole thing plays out. I think it's going to be a problem for all the, if you like to bet on any kind of sports, it don't matter if it's NBA, NFL, MLB, any sport you bet on will be compromised by this. I guarantee you heard it. If you've not heard it yet, you heard it here first. Okay, you have heard it here. Vegas, all of that is going to be kaput because there's no more confidence. You feel like everything is rigged. How are you going to vote on something that's rigged? That's, it's just like voting for for your general election. If you feel like the voting is rigged, then what's the point of you voting? How are you going to make a difference on a predetermined outcome? You see what I'm saying? So it's that same kind of mentality. Why would I bet on this when it's a predetermined outcome that I don't know that somebody else knows? It's so silly. Hold on. Otto says, ABL, are these allegations similar to what allegedly caused Jordan to leave the league for baseball? Yes. And allegedly, that's why his dad, RIP. Because now you're getting the mob involved. And the mob is still the mob. The mob didn't go nowhere. You might see some of these guys on TV. You might see some guys on podcasts, Sammy DeBorgovano and Michael Francis. You see these guys talking, and maybe you think that the mob is gone. Nah, the mob is still here, and they ain't going nowhere. And gambling has been the big business since the beginning. Since the old country to the new country, it's been the big business, and it ain't going nowhere. And it's a criminal organization, so what they do is they target weak guys. Gambling is an issue. A lot of guys are degenerate gamblers. They're addicted to gambling, hooked on gambling. It don't matter if you're rich or poor. I was watching, it might have been Shannon Sharp talking about a guy who lost his entire family fortune gambling, over $200 million gone. Gone. You get degenerate gamblers of all stripes. And people know that. So the criminal organizations will target you. And once they kind of get you to do certain little things for them, they'll say something like, oh, I need you for like 3 hits. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Once they get those 3 hits, they're going to want more and more and more. Hey, check it out. You will never stop working for us. You will never stop working for us. As long as you're in the league, you will always work for us. And guess what? If you don't want to work for us, well, hey, somebody you love might come up missing. Somebody you love might pop up dead. Or you might pop up dead. What you want to do? So now we get in the criminal element involved with the league. And the league has had problems before. In the 70s, it was with the crack. 70s, 80s, a lot of guys was on crack. It's like, man, ain't nobody trying to see basketball players that's, dope fiend basketball players. Like nobody wants to see that. A team full of zombies, drug addicts. Nobody wants to see that. There's been scandals, but this one right here might be the biggest. It might be the biggest. So we'll see. We'll see how the whole thing goes. I am a sports fan. I love basketball a lot, but this right here is just, and then you bring in the college players getting paid. That's going to add on another layer of potential corruption. Okay, you're going to have money from all over the place, and there might be a particular piece of money paid to do a particular thing that could impact the actual game on the basketball court and impact the results. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Frank Porter says a fool in his money is soon parted. For sure. For sure. Absolutely. Pete Rose. Gambling been going on. Tim Donaghy. I remember Tim Donaghy very well because that's like right around, I was really watching basketball. This is like 2007. I'm like, what? I'm like 23. So yeah, I'm definitely big into basketball at this time. Tim Donaghy was a ref and had got locked up for betting on games that he officiated in. This is during the Allen Iverson era, where Iverson was talking about certain referees being too harsh on them, punishing them unfairly, a lot of unfair calls. Now, Allen Iverson at the time was painted as a diva and a prima donna, somebody who was difficult to work with, and a guy who would complain all the time rather than going out there and giving his full effort, which was ridiculous. He gave everything he had. Allen Iverson might have been 5'11", 150 pounds, soaking wet, and was like a 6'8" Kobe out there on the basketball court. He was telling the truth about some of these wrestling, what they do. Tim Donaghy got locked up. He went to prison. But Tim Donaghy was a cover-up because it was widespread. A lot of refs and players were gambling, but definitely the refs. Because think about it. Okay, refs make good money. Refs now make, what, $250 on the low end, on the high end, $500,000 a year. But Terry Rozier, the guy who just got locked up, the NBA player, makes $25 million a year. So there's a gap. You see the NBA guys and what they have, you might become covetous. Okay, I want what they got. So now I'm going to go out here and do something on the low. Ain't nobody going to know about it. Insignificant calls. Look, I'm calling the game. It's the Charlotte Hornets versus, I don't know, the Washington Wizards. Nobody cares who wins, loses this game. But people are watching. When you got big money like that involved, billions of dollars on the line, you got network TV deals. When you got that kind of thing going on, thousands of jobs, thousands of ancillary jobs, sports books, criminal element, when you got all that involved, it becomes very, very serious, and you cannot play around. You cannot play around. Not in the least bit. But yeah, shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all. Mauricio says, always assumed, pardon me, the main draw to sports was the gambling aspect behind the scenes. I mean, for me, I never was really a gambling guy. I'm not really a gambling guy. So I've been to Vegas and been to the casino. I ain't know what to do. I'm sitting there at the table. I'm like, okay, what's next? I'm not a gambling person. So I just like sports because I enjoy sports. I enjoy the competitive nature of the game. Now, if I understood gambling more, I might be into that, but I don't really get it personally. But for me, it was about the competitive nature. Now, a lot of people are drawn to sports because of the gambling. Fantasy, all that kind of stuff is really big business. Apu says, ABL, are you a gambler? Casinos, blackjack, poker, dice, slot machines, bingo. And like I was just saying, Apu, no, I'm not a gambler at all. And Apu says, should sports betting be banned? Yes or no? I think they should. Well, that might not be a yes or no answer. Hold on. It might not be a yes or no answer. I think it should be regulated. It's just like the way it was before. Because at one point, all these apps you have on your phone were not legal. Prize Picks, all of that. And still in certain states, it's not legal, if I'm not mistaken. You can't even do the whole electronic gambling in certain states because they know human nature. This is why casinos are controversial, very controversial. It is seen as like inhumane to put a gambling place, I don't know what they call them, a shot house. I don't know what they call these places. It's seen as inhumane to do that in a lot of low income areas because people are going to go in there and bet all they have and lose it, and it'll make them worse. They won't actually succeed from this place. They're going to go there with a little bit of money, trying to make that become more money out of desperation and lose it. It's kind of a predatory thing to have a casino in a place where people are desperate. And even in Vegas, it's seen as kind of predatory because you got degenerate gamblers. So even if you got a bunch of money and you go to Vegas and you can afford to gamble, can you afford to gamble? The dude lost his whole business, $204 million gone. They know that about people, which is why gambling has always been taboo. I think it should be regulated. You want to go to Vegas? Okay. You want to go to a place where a reservation or something like this? Okay. But to have it on your phone, easily accessible, I don't think so. Because you're going to have a lot of problems with that, which is happening right now. And ultimately, gambling, when you're talking about gambling on sports, having it widespread like that is going to kill sports. So it won't be a thing to gamble on anymore anyway. Like you want to gamble, but the gambling, the widespread nature of it is going to kill it. So there won't be anything to gamble on. That's kind of what's happening. NERN says horse race book is a sad place. Oh, hey, listen. Hey, I've seen some stuff. I'm going to tell you a quick story. Quick story. So I'm at the barbershop. Yeah, I had a low cut back in the day. I had a little bald fade back in the day. A little, a good African boy, low haircut. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Don't play no games. My son, your head is closer to gold now. But anyway, I had one of them. So I'm in the barbershop getting the cut. And right next door, it's kind of in the hood a little bit. I ain't going to say where it was. Matter of fact, I'll say where it was because it's probably gone by now. I used to go to a barbershop in Chesapeake on Military and in River Road. Right over there, like in that area. So you kind of understand where I'm talking about. But anyway, I'm at the barbershop. I come outside. Right next door is a little small casino, like a storefront in the hood. And every time I went to the barbershop, you would see the people like at their worst, the worst stage of life going in and out of that place. I'm talking about like they are one step away from being homeless, or they might be homeless. That's how it was. But one day I'm in the barbershop. I come out. It's a lady. I'm talking about bleeding profusely for no reason. Leaving the actual casino screaming. Ah! She didn't appear to be assaulted. People were like carrying her, trying to like hold her. I didn't know. It was like whatever she was going through just happened right there in the casino. You would see stuff like that coming out of there. It was terrible. I was like, man, nah. And when I saw that, I was like, you know what? This is why casinos are so controversial. When you put them in certain places, it's going to cause problems. It's going to cause big problems. So nah. And I saw a video recently because in Georgia, they got these little slot machines in gas stations, if you didn't know. A dude had took a sledgehammer and was destroying the slot machines for no reason at all. Maybe he lost his last little $5 and went back in there with some anger. So now you got a dangerous environment. So I'm good, man. I'm cool on that. I think casinos should be tightly regulated. I don't think they should be put in an area where it's a lot of poverty. And I think that there should be a lot of education about gambling and a lot of resources for those who are hooked on gambling, because the gambling, the rush from it is like drugs or alcohol. And that's why it's such a big thing. That's why it's such a big moneymaker. Hey, that scene I saw, it's like right here, burned in my mind. That might have been 20 years ago, but it's like right here. I saw that. I was like, oh my Lord, what in the world is happening here? But yeah, shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. I apologize for the maybe a little bit of gruesome story, but I had to say it because it was right there on my head. I had to let it out anyway. Had to get off my chest. But shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. You guys are the best audience. You guys are also the first sponsor. Shout out to you for watching. I know I couldn't do the show without you, but also shout out to patriotpost.us, your best source of news and information anywhere on these interwebs. Their link will always be in the box, or just visit patriotpost.us. Tell them that ABL sent you. Also, please go to the merch website, ablmerch.com. That is ablmerch.com. We got the hats, the t-shirts, stickers, the hoodies, mugs, and more right there on the website, ablmerch.com. Also, please go to my regular website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. On the front page of the website, I have an article for each video that I produce. And in each article, I got sources from the left, from the right, from the center, from the Democratic, Republican, political, agnostic, local, national, international, whatever you want. I got it right there on the front page of the website, anthonyblogan.com. Also, please go to the contact page of the website, anthonyblogan.com/contact-us. There you'll be able to find my email address, my snail mail address, my UPS box, of course, my social media accounts, my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, never going to call it X, TikTok, although I hate it. All those links are right there on the contact page of the website, anthonyblogan.com/contact-us. And as I always say, if you're ever wondering if you're speaking to me on the interwebs or not, you're probably not, especially if it does not come from my email address, which is contact@anthonyblogan.com. Again, contact@anthonyblogan.com. That email is on the website, on the contact page, in the description. Go to the search bar, type it in, you'll be able to find me. If you see a comment from someone who has my name or my picture in the YouTube comment section, don't think it's real, especially if it's responding to you talking about Bitcoin, foreign exchange. I don't know nothing about that. It's not me. Okay. Y'all know who it's going to be. I done said it enough, but I still get emails from y'all. Look, I give this warning every stream because y'all still be emailing me. Anthony, I thought I could trust you. Listen, I don't know who you were talking to. Okay. It's a dude. He might look like me over in Nigeria, but he's not me. Okay. And he might look just like me in the face, but he's not me. He's going to sound like this. That's not the way I speak. It may look the same. It may look similar, but he is not the authentic version of me. Okay, he is not me. I beg. Or it'll be a guy over in India. Hello, come again. Apu. Okay, it's going to be him. Or it's going to be a dude over in Eastern Europe. Ivan Drago. If he dies, he dies. Borscht and Natashka. Okay, Borscht all over the place. It's going to be them. It's not going to be me. So please, 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 don't get scammed in this year of our Lord 2025. But we got quite a bit going on. We got quite a bit going on here. The ballroom. I'm loving this ballroom stuff. The people on the left are losing their mind over the ballroom. I think the ballroom will be as beautiful as the original White House that has been there since it got burned down in 1814 or whatever that was. It's going to be as beautiful and opulent as that. And I don't think it'll overtake it. It'll be a companion piece. Okay. So that's what's going on. I think it's going to be great. And Trump had offered to build this ballroom years ago before he became the president for free. He was going to spend $100 million. It was going to be free. And it was probably going to be just as beautiful as what he's going to build right now. Now, of course, that was many years ago, so now the price has gone up. It's probably going to be the same thing. And you know what's funny? I'm willing to bet that he had the plans or the idea in his head to build it exactly the way it's being built right now, years and years ago, before he became the president. I think it's a great thing how you have a builder who has built some iconic buildings in this country who wants to add on to the White House compound, the White House complex, if you will, for free. I've never in my life seen people freak out so much over something for free. I've never seen that before in my life. I could almost understand if it was taxpayer money, but they don't care about spending taxpayer money. Listen, they will spend all your taxpayer money on anything. They will spend taxpayer money on making the frogs gay. They will spend taxpayer money on coloring book research and toads and pigeons, stupid stuff, dumb stuff. They have no problem taking your taxpayer money and setting it on fire right in front of your face after they take it from you at gunpoint. If you don't pay it, you get locked up, shot, whatever. They got armed IRS agents. They're trying to hire, 87,000 IRS agents? Oh, okay. And giving them guns to come take the money. But anyway, Trump said, you know what? For free. And they tripping. So here's Trump talking about how he offered to build this same ballroom years ago for $100 million. Let's get some sound and let it roll.
And every time the top people come over from China, they're getting these big, beautiful, they put a tent on the White House. We don't have a ballroom at the White House. I offered, by the way, Jerry, years ago to build a ballroom at the White House, free of charge, $100 million ballroom. I said, we'll get the top 5 architects in America, We'll get the top people, top everything. We'll have the best ballroom because I noticed they always put tents up on the lawn. Number one, it's not a good security thing. Number two, the guy that owns the tents is making a fortune, okay? This poor guy, I mean, he's making so much money. All he needs is one tent, and he charges them so much, he's making a fortune. All right. But I said, I will build a ballroom. I gave it to the Obama. I actually told David Axelrod, a good guy, very capable guy. I told David Axelrod, David, I will build a ballroom free of charge, at least $100 million. We'll make it the finest ballroom in the world. We'll put it someplace so it works contextually, magnificently. It'll be done. We'll have committees set up. I never heard back. It's just one of just thousands of things. I mean, if someone's going to give me a free ballroom, I'm going to take it. We'll put it in an area that'll look great. But, we don't have a ballroom at the White House.
Exactly. So, I mean, Trump has been consistent. That's the thing about him. One thing about people in general that I can respect, even if I don't appreciate your politics. Of course, I'm a Trump guy, so I love the politics are great, fantastic. But even if it was a guy on the left, I appreciate people being consistent. If Trump said, hey, I gave you a free ballroom years ago, and he's saying, hey, you could get the same ballroom for free right now, that's consistency. Okay, before he was the president, he was saying that you're saying the same thing now. You're being consistent. I appreciate that 100%. And the tents, what he said about the tents, let me show you some of these tents if you've not seen them, because that's what they normally do for events. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I feel like we're a first world country, right? We're the best country in the world, right? We should be able to host state dinners with world leaders and other people in an actual ballroom rather than tents. And these tents are always rented. So we're spending money on the tents. So, I mean, not only is a ballroom free, it's going to eliminate the need to keep renting these tents. So we're going to save money and get something for free. On top of that, that'll be used for the next 100 years, 200 years, or whatever. Now, here goes they go Big Mike and Barry right in the front of the tent. So what do y'all think would be better? A tent to host these state functions or a ballroom? What would be more secure? A tent or a ballroom? Y'all just let me know. I don't know about y'all, but look, especially if it's the wintertime and it's cold outside, it get real cold in DC, and them tents ain't gonna do nothing for you. Give me the ballroom. Give me the central air, heating, air conditioning, bathroom facilities. I want the whole shebang. I'm not trying to be outside in this tent. And that's something else though. Is there a bathroom facility out here? What you gonna do? Like, you gonna go outside the White House? No, you're not. You're gonna be right out there in that tent for as long as you gotta be out there. So I'm glad we have the ballroom. Now we have hold on, we got some plans. Hold on, before I get to the plans, I'm gonna show a little bit of the news. And then I'm gonna show you some plans or some concept images. I don't think we have the actual plans like, okay, it's gonna be 2 foot, 3 foot. We got concept images. Let's watch some of this.
This morning, the historic 120-year-old East Wing of the White House reduced to rubble. Satellite images show the dramatic transformation from less than 1 month ago to now. Along with the building, at least 6 trees have been taken down, including 2 magnolias commemorated to Presidents Warren Harding and Franklin Roosevelt.
Oh, poor 6 trees. Oh.
All to make room for President Trump's 90,000 square foot ballroom. This rendering shows how the ballroom will look when completed, much larger than the White House residence.
I like it. It looks great to me. It looks fantastic.
I think there'll be nothing like it.
ABC News has learned the White House has required some construction workers to sign non-disclosure agreements, officials calling it standard practice, given the security of the White House. The Trump administration has still not submitted plans to the National Capital Planning Commission, but insists all historical artifacts from the East Wing are safely being preserved. Still more critics are speaking out. Chelsea Clinton in a USA Today op-ed writes, President Trump has the right to pave over the Rose Garden and denude it of roses, as well as turn the East Wing into a ballroom. Still, it is unsettling that such substantial alterations are being undertaken without a historic preservation review.
Why so dramatic, denuded of roses? Why so dramatic? It ain't that deep. It's okay.
The president says the ballroom, expected to cost $300 million, will be funded by private donations and his own money.
How much am I donating? I won't be able to tell you until I finish, but I'll donate whatever's needed, I'll tell you that.
The demolition unfolding as we enter day 24 of the government shutdown.
There we go. Shut down. The Democrats shut down. Democrats want to give health care to illegal aliens. And we say, nah, that's not really a good idea. So now the government shut down. Let's see if they blink come November the 1st, because they got to do something. Look, the EBT benefits, if they're not there, listen, if the EBT benefits are not there on November the 1st, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be an issue. Now, I don't want some genius to say that I'm threatening somebody, because I'm not. I'm just saying this is a reality, because I know people are. They're not going to take that news very well if their EBT card is not refreshed on the 31st at midnight. Look, November the 1st, hold on. And it's a Saturday too, the 1st. Look, I need my card refreshed Friday, October 31st at midnight. That's the mentality that they're going to be on. And if it's not, then it's the Democrats' fault, because again, they want to give health care to illegal aliens. Now, this is going to be Washington Post here. And it says how Trump's ballroom will dwarf the White House. They worried about the size. Like, you know, they worried about the ballroom. Okay. They are trying to say that Trump is overshadowing the White House. I mean, they are so soft. They really are. But we got some drawings here. I got like a little, I'm not sick or nothing. It's just like a piece of dust that's like right here. But let's so there goes the ballroom here. Hold on, let me zoom out a little bit. I think this looks beautiful. Okay, I think that looks great. Coming from the main residence, the OG White House. Like this building right here in the center is the White House. These are add-ons. The West Wing, all of that came later. The East Wing came in like in 1900. These are later additions. And so shall the ballroom. But it's going to be beautiful. I think it'll be a compliment to the White House. It'll go perfectly with it. And it won't overshadow it because it'll be done in the same style. The White House has its own unique style that the ballroom would emulate. The ballroom would not try to be something different. It won't try to compete. But that's what the left want to tell you, because they want to make it seem like Trump is trying to be there forever, be a dictator or whatever. Okay, so now we got some more drawings here. It looks great. Same White House style, those same windows, columns, everything. It looks like it. It looks like the White House, like another part of the White House. Okay, and then you see all the tables in here, all the tables and chairs. Looks great. Okay, looks fantastic. And you get the interior, how it's going to look here with some of these pictures. Beautiful. The high ceilings, I love it. I love it. 9,000 square feet. Fantastic. Yeah, it's time for an upgrade. The East Wing, you know, it's cool. You see the difference, but hey, let's upgrade that right quick for free. Why not? Why not? I think it's a great thing. But we'll see. I think 2029 it'll be finished. And I think we'll see something fantastic. I personally like to go to the new ballroom. I've been to the White House a few times. Hey, whoever going to be the next president, whether it's Marco Rubio, JD Vance, or whoever, listen, I need my invitation. Please save my spot. I need that immediately. I'm trying to be in that ballroom, having the good old time. Okay, now look, here is Pocahontas and Amy Klobuchar talking about the ballroom and the construction and whatnot. Okay. Hey, Pocahontas, I have more native blood than you do. That's funny. But anyway.
No, it is actually a demolition zone. That is what it is. Look at that.
Oh,
unbelievable.
Wow. This is a construction zone. You know, Donald Trump can't hear people asking for help because there's all the
machinery. I mean, these are like bulldozers taking down the people's house right in front of our eyes.
Leveling the people's house so that he can build a gold-encrusted ballroom.
And
Wait. Why is the White House the people's house? Why? Tell me why. Tell me why the White House is the people's house. Now, is it the people's house because we're taxpayers? Okay. Now, how about the Capitol? Is that also the people's house? I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. Like, you let me know what's happening. When we said the Capitol was the people's house, oh, y'all disregarded that because of the whole J6 thing. But now you guys are saying the White House is the people's house. So which one is it? Is it our house or is it not? Is the whole DC a thing that we all own because we're taxpayers and you guys work for us? Or I'm trying to understand.
You think, how much does this cost? And he said 200 million, right?
Yeah.
A few weeks ago. Now he's saying 300 million.
Yeah.
$300 million and an unbelievable amount of money just for this vanity.
I mean, don't worry about how I spend my money. Don't worry about that. I got the money. Don't worry about how I spend my money. Okay. You might say that, hey, ABL, why you want to spend $20 on that bag of peanuts? Look, don't worry about how I spend my money. Okay. Don't look, I'm good. I'm not going to go broke. I can afford it. It's okay. With Trump, he's got it. He has the money from the donors. He has his own money. Ain't nobody going broke. The taxpayers are not spending money. Don't watch my pockets.
Project of his with this golden ballroom.
Yeah, and meanwhile, what's happening on groceries, on utilities? The costs just keep going up and up
Exactly.
and up.
Well, kind of like the ballroom. So,
Yeah.
That went from 200 to 300 million. But what really people see is what's happening with all of their groceries, what's happening with electricity, healthcare premiums. And he literally won't even take the time. He's like, super. He's become a construction manager.
No, I know, but he says he can't do anything on healthcare because we can't afford it.
That's true.
This is what we can afford, according to Donald Trump, tearing down the people's house.
Okay, so, I think they got told to do a reaction video by the interns or whatever on Capitol Hill, but they are so dishonest, and that's part of the reason why people don't like them anymore is because of the dishonesty. We know that this is not being funded by the taxpayer. They're speaking as if it is. If this was a brand new thing being funded by us in the midst of a financial crisis or whatever they want to say is happening, then they have a point, but that's not what's going on. But they will still say it as if that's what's happening, although they won't say it directly. They'll say it indirectly. So here's an example of how they're indirect, and they say certain things that people pick up on. Okay, yeah, well, things are very expensive. Groceries are high. This is high. That's high. And Donald Trump, I say it's told him all the time. Donald Trump wants to spend $50 million on this. It's like, what's that got to do with anything? The money's not coming from anything that would help the American people. Okay. Taxpayer money would help the American people. And when I say that, I'll say mostly not paying as much taxes, getting a reduction in taxes, putting money in our pocket. That'll help the American people. But a private donor's money being given to build a building will not help us. Buildings are built every single day and they're funded every single day. And we don't get a piece of that money. So make it make sense. But anyway, that is Pocahontas and Amy Klobuchar. All right. And this person has a conspiracy, I suppose, about the East Wing and about the ballroom. All right. And RIP in advance to the headphone users. Let's go ahead and throw this on the screen.
It's not about the ballroom. He's secretly building a state-of-the-art bunker where the old one is. He's planning on staying in power for the rest of his life. That's why he didn't go through the proper channels. He's trying to create an emergency before the midterms so there will be no voting, and he and his regime will stay in power. And where are those people who fought to keep statues up to preserve history? It's not.
Okay, first of all, the statues, that's a crazy comparison. You see, there are statues up to commemorate people who made an impact in a particular area, especially. Like, I don't know, George Washington University, you removed the bust of George Washington. Hey, you removed the bust of George Washington at George Washington University because he was a slave owner. Really? Is that what we doing? We're talking about stuff like that. History? What history? This was built in 1900. It was not part of the original structure. We're not tearing down the OG White House. We're talking about an add-on, a porch, something that's not even really important. And we're going to put something there that's been needed for a long time, a ballroom. Oh, and then the whole thing about the bunker. Okay, so what's he going to do? Just go in the bunker and can nobody find him? He could just, I'm going to just go in the bunker and hide and then I'm going to be the president forever. Is that how that works? So if I just go in the bunker and stay there, I stay in power, make it make sense. Anybody can say, I'm still in power, I'm still the guy, but if you're not, then you're not. He will serve 2 terms, and it's going to be the next guy. This whole Trump 2028 thing is a troll. It's a troll, and the left, they falling for it. They're falling for it. Hook, line, sinker. Ain't going to be no more Trump after this. He'll still be around, I suppose. And I hope the ballroom is named the Donald J. Trump Ballroom. I hope. Or the Melania Trump, Donald J. Trump Ballroom, the Melania Trump Ballroom, or the Charles James Kirk Ballroom, Charlie Kirk. One of those 3. I hope it's named that so their name still stays around. But as far as him being president, nah, it's 2 terms, and it's okay because we got more people. We don't need just Trump. I saw an interview with Steve Bannon. He's talking about, well, Trump got to be the president again in 2028 because we need him and anybody else that can do it. Now, we got more guys that can do it. Marco Rubio probably is right now the best guy that can do it, in my humble opinion. Marco already does so much and does so much very well. I think he'd be the president because in that role, you got to do a lot as well. You got to multitask and do more than one thing at once. So he'd be good at being the president. And if not Marco, it'll most certainly be J.D. Vance. Oh, and speaking about private money, not taxpayer money, since Democrats shut the government down because they want to give taxpayer money to illegal aliens, a private donor stepped in to pay the troops while the shutdown was happening with his own money that was donated straight to them. Okay, let's watch some of this. Somebody said Rubio is doo-doo. Why is Rubio bad? Why you don't like Rubio? I like Rubio. Shout out to Marco. Definitely probably the most improved politician in the government. But let's watch some of this.
They're going to go without their first full paychecks, federal workers.
By the way, a friend of mine, talking about donors, a friend of mine, a man that's great. I'm not going to use his name unless he lets me do it. Susie can tell you about this, but he called us the other day and he said, I'd like to contribute any shortfall you have because of the Democrat shutdown. I'd like to personally contribute any shortfall you have with the military because I love the military and I love the country. And any shortfall, if there's a shortfall, I'll contribute it. And today he sent us a check for $130 million. I would love to tell you he doesn't really want the recognition, if you want to know the truth, but he gave us a check for $130 million, which was sort of a shortfall, yeah. And that's going to go to the military, yeah. Is that the correct number? $130 million. That's what I call a patriot.
There we go. So that's quite a bit of money from one private donor, wrote a check for $130 million, pay all the troops during a lockdown. So that's what we do. We just get stuff done. We get straight to it. We don't need the government for everything. If the government has a shortfall, we're going to figure out a way to get through it. That's what we do on the right. And to me, that's just the way that this country should run. You want the government to do certain things that they're paid to do if you're required to pay taxes, but they shouldn't be doing everything. And there should be a lot that we as citizens do. I'm not saying we should pay the military, but what I'm saying is it can't be this over-reliance upon the government. Okay, they got to be there to just have checks and balances in our society so we're not totally lawless and we don't become chaotic, broke, destitute, and everything else. Now, speaking about that role, here's Kash Patel talking about the whole the FBI investigation into the NBA and widespread gambling. And there's 2 things with the NBA. You got poker games that they were doing, fake poker games. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And then also betting on games, all kind of doing things in the game that would affect the outcome. Stephen A. Smith said that Kash Patel and Donald Trump specifically are targeting the NBA because Donald Trump has an issue with the NBA from way back in the day, or organized sports. I think it was a thing with football. He was trying to get a team and couldn't get it. But anyway, they're trying to say that he had an issue with sports, and now it's coming out against the NBA because of that. But here's Kash Patel throwing cold water on that narrative.
Yeah.
And shout out to Kash Patel. Hey, he's working hard too. He's working real hard. Shout out Kash Patel.
Down the street. By the way, this was so wild. Stephen A. Smith, the sports commentator, suggested that this was revenge from the president for all the kind of left-wing activism of the NBA. Your response to that, 15 seconds.
I'm the FBI director. I decide which arrests to conduct and which not to conduct. That may be the single dumbest thing I've ever heard out of anyone in modern history, and I live most of my time in Washington, D.C. It's right up there with Adam Schiff. We arrest people for crimes.
Yeah, down the street.
Exactly. 100%. It's nothing about no revenge or nothing like that. It's just straight up, hey, we got criminal actions, and that's just what it is. Now, I got to play Tim Donaghy. Now, if y'all don't know, because again, this is going to be real big. Y'all hearing it here first. Tim Donaghy was an NBA ref for 2007. Well, he was ref before then, but in 2007, he was locked up. He did, I think, a year in federal penitentiary because he was betting on games that he was officiating, and they found that he was doing certain things that would change the outcome of the game as a referee, which you cannot do at all. Now, this is a recent interview with him and Patrick Bet-David, or a piece of it, where he's talking about how in 2007, he was kind of made to be the scapegoat because gambling was more widespread than what they were trying to say. So when he goes to jail, it was made to seem that it was just him, nobody else, and it wasn't widespread. It was a cover-up, in his opinion. Let's watch.
Just received a text message from one of the FBI agents that worked my case, and he basically said that they're not going to be able to cover this up like they cover up my case.
What do you mean by that? So what's the difference between this case and your case?
You know, I think the David Stern was able to basically put a lid on it and paint me as one bad apple, the only guy involved, and nobody else did anything but me. And, we were going to move on from it. The FBI said that there was 6 or 7 other people that they wanted to indict, and this got shut down from the highest level. And then I find out, after I go to jail that, a guy by the name of Greg Andres, who was the head of the Eastern District of New York, took a job at a law firm and all of a sudden got all the outside legal counsel work for the NBA. So, it was a situation where David Stern really ran that whole investigation, and it got shut down by the, highest level people in regard to other people being involved. Just received it.
So look, David Stern was the NBA commissioner prior to Adam Silver. RP David Stern, he died a while back. Now Adam Silver took over. He's an okay commissioner. He's not bad. He's made the NBA a lot of money, but I think that the biggest mistake they made was expanding the gambling, because now there's more chances that there's more of it's easier to get guys hooked on gambling, and that will increase the odds of somebody doing something in the game because of gambling. A gambling debt, they got approached, they got, they got tempting to do certain things, and now they in a hole, and now they hooked, and now we got games that are being rigged. So again, that's Tim Donaghy, former NBA ref, said, hey, it's been going on, but it got covered up, and now you can't cover it up anymore. Now, somebody said, well, the timing is crazy because the season just started. Well, when do you announce this? If you announce it in the offseason, every story going into the season will be about the NBA gambling. So the season opener will be NBA gambling. If you do it mid-season, now you're trying to interfere with the play-in games or whatever they got, the All-Star. If you do it toward the end, now you're messing with playoffs, which is the worst thing. Right now was the best time to do it, because by the time playoffs get here, it'll be forgotten largely if you can resolve this right now. You see what I'm saying? So this is probably the best time to do it. If you do it any other time, it would still be an issue. It'll still be an impact. Again, you can do it mid-season, you're messing with the All-Star. End of the season, you're messing with the playoffs. Off-season, you're messing with the season opener. And the entire off-season and contract negotiations and everything else. You get past contract negotiations, past trades and all that kind of stuff. Hey, put it out right now. But we'll see how the whole thing plays out. Now, Kyrie Irving called it. Now, I remember Kyrie Irving. I covered him before. Kyrie Irving had got suspended from the league because he didn't want to get vaccinated. Remember? Because at the time he was playing in Brooklyn for the Brooklyn Nets. Eric Adams, and look, Eric, I forgive you for this. At the time, Eric Adams said that you could not work in New York City if you're not vaccinated. Remember? Now, of course, if you're a basketball player for the Brooklyn Nets, you may not live in New York City, but you work in New York City. And the thing about that, which was crazy, was that the players had to get vaccinated, but the fans did not, because it only applied to those who were working in New York City, not necessarily if you just happen to be in the city. Because, okay, if I'm a tourist just visiting New York, how are you going to say, I got to get vaxxed? I don't live here. Either way, it shouldn't have been a thing, but that's the way it was. Kyrie Irving said, no, I'm not going to do this. So he wound up getting traded. Stephen A. Smith, by the way, Mr. I want to be the president, I'm Mr. Know-It-All. Stephen A. Smith back then said that Kyrie Irving was he should retire, and he, all kind of stuff, attacking them because he didn't want to get vaccinated. Of course, Kyrie was right. And he's also right about the whole sports betting thing. He said this before. He said this, I'm about to show you, before all this stuff came out in the news. Did he play away games in the URN? I do remember that. Yeah, he played away games. So Kyrie, going back to him not being able to play in New York, since he was working in New York, when he would play home games, he had to be vaccinated. So he couldn't play in the game, but he would be on the sideline with his teammates, with no mask on and regular street clothes. When he would go away, he could play games then. But then what happened was during that whole thing, he put out a documentary about some Jews. That right there kind of did it. Then they treated him so badly. First, it was the whole vax thing. Then it was some of the Jews that got offended. They were wearing T-shirts on the sideline, like protesting them. Anyway, let's get to what he said about the sports betting.
Gambling and sports betting has completely taken the purity away and the fun away from the game at times. I'm gonna just be honest with y'all. So, work is work, but the support around it can be very distracting. You know what I mean? There's a difference between being a diehard fan and supporting your team and loving your team versus somebody that's betting on a parlay or somebody that wants to hit. And don't get me wrong, I don't want anybody wasting their money on me. But god dang, this whole community of gamblers that's come into the game of basketball, y'all tell me what y'all think. Want to gamble? Why don't you gamble on something that makes sense to you? And if you gamble on me, I'm not going to tell you whether it's a good gamble or a bad gamble. I'm just saying, you gambling, you going to win or lose. But that doesn't mean sliding into people's DMs or wishing bad on them.
Oh yeah, because what happens a lot of times, athletes get a lot of abuse online and in person sometimes because they did not play a certain way and their parlay got messed up. That's a real thing. But and before I move on, hold on. Let me just go back here. I'm gonna show you what happened with Kyrie when he was getting protested. Like some of these T-shirts that they had on the sideline. If you guys remember this, okay. See, remember all he did was post a link to a documentary that's on Amazon. He got in trouble for that, but Amazon is totally fine to have the documentary on Amazon. Okay, so you got people that had these shirts that said "Fight Anti-Semitism" right there on the sideline as he's playing basketball in New York. Okay, it's like, you know what? All right, man. I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm not nothing. Just get me out of here. I don't want to get vaxxed. I don't want to be told something that I'm not. Get me out of New York. Hey, and you know what? When Mom Donnie becomes the mayor of New York, there will be quite a few more echoes of this sentiment about leaving New York. I guarantee you. 100%. Hey, Florida, get ready. Get ready for the New Yorkers. I know they're already there, shirt off or shirt open with a taco meat. I'm walking here all down South Beach. I know they're already there, but you're going to get more of them. You heard it here first. Okay, now this guy said that he knew about some of these illegal games, these poker games, because that's something else. The betting on the games is one thing, but the poker games were something else that they were doing. They had a table, like an X-ray table. They had glasses that could see the cards. It was all kind of stuff that they were doing. It was a whole big rigged thing that they were doing with organized crime, with the Italian mafia. Okay, and then who else got caught? Gilbert Arenas got caught with the Jewish mafia from Israel, doing the same thing: poker games, cricket games, illegal games, all that kind of stuff. This guy is a pro player, and saw the whole thing unfold. Okay, let's watch some of this.
Cheating's bad. Okay,
it is.
There are a lot of stories about it. There's one that cropped up. This must have been like 5 years ago, 2019-ish, I think, 4 years ago, where there was this game. It started in LA and then it came to Vegas for a few days, and it was all built around Chauncey Billups. And I had heard about the game, and the person who told me about it was like, "Look, I know the game runners. I'm telling you 100% this game is on the up and up." And I was like, "Well, I know a lot of the people that are involved, and I'm telling you 100% that it is not on the up and up."
Yeah.
And we kind of went back and forth, and I agreed that like I just wasn't going to go play it, but I had some friends who went and played it both in LA and in Vegas, and it obviously like was for sure confirmed to be cheated.
Mm-hmm.
Like people who clearly didn't even understand the rules of No Limit Hold'em are just like jamming hundreds of big blinds in with like a gutty and then just drilling it. Yeah. Only the pros are losing. Like,
so the pros can tell. They know what you're doing. Listen, you're not doing anything unique out here in these streets. You want to get involved in crime, everybody already see you. Terry Rozier, they saw you right when you first, Terry Rozier, right when you first cheated, right when you first did the whole parlay thing, they saw it. The sports books already knew. A bunch of these unders came in for you randomly for no reason, abnormally. It was a spike in the data. It's all computerized. It automatically flagged it. They saw you from the beginning, and you kept on doing it. They let you do it to build the case on you, and now you're going to prison. Anybody that want to commit crime understand that you're being watched. Understand that. You can't really hide. And the feds, the way they work, you'll do that for years and years and years. 8 years, 10 years. And when they come knocking, they're going to have everything. Phone records, pictures. They're going to have your friend, your best friend, your baby mama on tape, telling on you, everything. That's why they got a really high conviction rate, because when they come at you, they come correct, and you can't even really do nothing but say, I'm guilty, and try to get less time. Beating the feds is almost unheard of. Puff Daddy beat the feds, really. That's what he did. And they knew their case was weak and he probably would beat them. So they had a failsafe, which was the Mann Act, which is a Jim Crow law that should be abolished. That's a different story. But that's why he's in prison, is because of the whole backup thing they had. In reality, he beat the actual case. So with the feds, sometimes if you beat the case, you still don't beat the case. But anyway, if they come to you with all the evidence, it's over with. It's over with. Don't even worry about it. Now look, the illegal alien truck drivers from India, like, listen, I'm not against Indian people. Shout out to the Indians. Good people. My issue is with, and has always been with, the illegal aliens. I don't care where you're from. You could be from the North Pole. You could be from Mars. You could be from the surface of the sun. My issue was with people who were here illegally. And you wouldn't be truck driving illegally, can't speak English. You shouldn't even be on the road, let alone driving the truck. So this is going to be from Sacramento. Okay. And my man right here is like, look, I understand we got some issues with the accidents, but don't just blame everybody.
That they're being yelled at, they're being, called names, this and that. I mean, you name it.
The roadway risks for Sikh truck drivers is growing, heightened by 2 deadly crashes where undocumented Sikh drivers have been accused of causing the chaos in just 3 months.
I'm not defending anyone. I mean, if anyone did mistake, they should pay for it. They should serve whatever they did. But don't punish everyone just because of one person.
Now, when you say don't punish everybody, what do you mean? What do you mean by punish? Do you mean deport illegal aliens? Is that what you consider to be punishing? Because it's not a matter of punishing you for the accidents. It's a matter of you being deported because you're here illegally. Now, if you mean don't attack Sikhs because of the Sikh people that did the truck driving accidents, okay, I understand that. I get it. I agree with you on that. But if it's about deportation and you're trying to defend them on that, it's indefensible. If they weren't here illegally, then they would not have caused the accidents. If they were not here, they would not have caused the accidents.
Raman Dhillon is the CEO of the North American Punjabi Trucking Association, made up of more than 2,000 members. He's been in the business for 3 decades, but these incidents and the political back and forth that's followed have even seasoned drivers worried.
Do your drivers feel safe leaving California?
Absolutely not. They are not feeling safe. There are a lot of good drivers, a lot of people that we work with every day, a lot of people that they are taking care of their families. They're doing the things right, but they are fearful right now. They are very fearful.
At a truck stop off of I-5, we set out to talk to drivers about their experiences. But no one wanted to be on camera talking about this subject out of fear.
But again, like in the back of your head, like if you're driving for a minute, there's still an instinct.
Fixing the fear, Dhillon suggests, may just start with understanding what's happening on the highway.
As a Sikh, as a Punjabi, as a Sikh, as an Indian, not everyone out there is a culprit, but everyone faces that. We face that.
Look, not one time in that report did I hear the actual problem, which is the illegal aliens. Look, you could eliminate a lot of the stigma around the Sikh truck drivers if you got the illegal aliens under control. That's because that's going to be the problem. There could be accidents among people that are born here in the USA, but when you bring in people that shouldn't be here and they have accidents, see, now you're adding on to the problem. You compound the problem. It's already an issue. It's like, okay, if you're living in a dangerous area, a dangerous neighborhood, and then you bring in more dangerous people, like Chicago, for example. Okay, perfect example. You already got dangerous areas in Chicago land. You bring in illegal alien criminals to the same area, you're making it worse. So when I say let's deport the illegal aliens because they're criminals, the response can't be, you already got criminals. Why focus on me? Because you're here illegally, and if you weren't here, the crime would go down. It's a crime problem, but you're making it worse. Now, here's the accident that happened recently by another one of the illegal alien Sikh truck drivers in California. We just saw one 2 months ago in Florida. Same situation. Illegal alien Sikh truck driver from India. Okay, and that's the key. Illegal. One guy came here in 2018 illegally. The other one in 2022. At the border, came in illegally and was let into the country. Somehow, he has a CDL in California, gets on the road and kills 3 people.
Exclusive dash cam video, which is now the subject of several law enforcement investigations. It shows the moment a red semi-truck plowed into a number of vehicles on the westbound 10 freeway in Ontario just after 1 p.m. yesterday. The CHP told the LA Times the driver of this big rig is a 21-year-old man who is now under arrest on suspicion of driving under the influence of drugs. A total of 4 semis were involved and also 4 passenger vehicles, one of them exploding in flames. 3 people were killed and 4 others were taken to local hospitals. This horrific crash happened just east of the 15 freeway and shut down all westbound lanes for more than 12 hours. Thousands of drivers were trapped in the gridlock just as the evening commute was getting underway. It's also near exclusive.
So, I mean, that's what's going on. And then also, somebody said it. The guy in Florida failed his CDL test a bunch of times. I don't know if it was 20 times. Was it 20 times he failed the test? He failed it multiple times, and there's no English. You've been here 10 years. You failing your CDL test multiple times, and you don't speak no English. It's like, come on, man. We could do better than that. We can do better than that. All right. But look, they did a federal audit on how many CDLs were given to illegal aliens in California.
Audit found
Hold on. Let me get some sound.
A federal audit found California had issued 62,000 CDLs to drivers who entered illegally, John, or do not have a permanent legal status as required by the feds. California sanctuary laws prohibit asking applicants their immigration status. Governor Newsom said there's not a problem. Back to you.
Did I hear you right? Did you say 62,000?
That's correct.
Oh, my goodness.
It's a federal audit.
William Lajeunesse for us. William, thank you so much.
That is quite a bit. That is a lot. And I think that's probably going to be where most of the illegal alien CDLs are coming from, California. That if you could just track them, you could find, matter of fact, you know what? That should be documented, right? If you did a federal audit and you were able to see how many CDLs were issued to illegal aliens by California, you should be able to track them to where they are. Hey, man, look, knock, here come ICE. Hey, man, I don't know where you're going to go, but you got to get up out of here. That's what I would say. So, yeah, like I said from the beginning, the biggest issue of this election is the migrant crisis. And that's still the biggest thing. Now, we got people that want to protest. Of course, Portland is a big place where they protesting ICE and stuff like this. Hey, you know what? I want to show you. This is going to be funny. This to me, it was hilarious. Okay, I'm going to show you a headline for an article. Then I'm going to show you the reality behind that headline, because sometimes it's different, right? Okay. So this is the Oregonian, of course. Blind protester dragged, detained by Fed, says agents picked, quote, the weakest person they could find. Okay, and you see, they got the picture right here. They got his little walking stick, all that kind of stuff. Okay, and he on the ground, he flailing. He's like 2 foot tall. Mommy, help, book bag on his neck. So they write a headline to make him sound pitiful, and they post a picture to make him look pitiful. Okay, now let's hear from this guy. Let's see what he was saying to the agents when he was arrested. Okay, let's see. All right, and we got a little bit of language, so you already know.
There's nothing in my socks, dumbass. My feet are too small. The fuck do you think I'm gonna put in there? God, you guys are fucking dumb. What? Hey, what? Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me, nigger.
Huh? Wait, whoa. Whoa. What was that at the end there? Wait a minute. I know I didn't hear that. I know I heard quite a few cuss words, quite a bit of screeching from Danny DeVito's evil brother, Bizarro brother, alternate universe Danny DeVito. I know I heard quite a bit of cuss words, but what was that at the end? Hold on, let's go back.
Talk to me. Talk to me, nigger.
The N-word, not the N-word with a hard R.
Hey, what? Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me, nigger.
oh, he's blind and he's the weakest person you can find and he's so soft and he's so weak. All right. All right. Where's all this I'm so weak and frail and fragile energy in this video? You tell me. You see, when you read a headline, it can say one thing. When you see a video, it can say something else, can't it? Oh, okay. All right. And you know what? To me, that's why the media sucks. That's why it's always good to do your own research. And the guy was out there protesting, acting the fool for a long time with the other people, the other ne'er-do-wells in Portland. Okay. Oh, yeah. That was just like, hey, oh, he's so weak and he's blind and this, that, and the third. Oh, okay. All right. So if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, let's go to, this is Carolyn Borchenko, and she went undercover with Antifa. Hey, now, Carolyn, I know I follow you, and I know you're going to see this, but you did a good job blending in. That's all I'm going to say. Shout out to you, Carolyn. Okay, you did the Lord's work going undercover with Antifa.
Carolyn Borchenko is an independent journalist and host of Decode the Left. So, Carolyn, you've been out there and checking out some of these Antifa tents. What have you seen?
Yeah, Jesse, I've been actually undercover with Antifa at multiple events in the past week, and I'm now in Portland, where I've been at the ICE facility, where you're right, they do have a ton of mutual aid supplies at the tents. But what's more interesting to me is actually the graffiti that I've seen around the ICE facility, where there are multiple calls to kill cops, kill ICE, that are posted on public property all around the blocks in the vicinity.
All right, so they've been under a little bit more pressure over the last couple weeks. There's been a lot of heat on them, the media heat. Also, there's just been more manpower out there. How have Antifa adopted?
I mean, I would say from my perspective, and again, I've been out in Portland for several days now, I actually have not seen a lot of additional manpower here. And so for Antifa here, it seems to be pretty much business as normal. They're still being disruptive and blocking the roads. They're actually holding a giant disco dance party outside the ICE facility tonight. So I'm sure that's going to lead to some chaos.
All right. So they don't work. They just dance and light fires all night?
Well, I think some of them do actually have jobs. I mean, these are teachers. Some of them are lawyers. Some of them, they're Starbucks baristas. They're Amazon employees. So I don't necessarily agree with the notion that they don't work. And that's actually part of how they fund all the supplies in those tents is through something called mutual aid, where they take their salaries and they're donating to those supplies. But certainly there are some that are kind of out there 24/7.
All right. So some do, some don't. But you're saying there's teachers that go and teach elementary school, and then at night they throw Molotov cocktails at a building?
Yes, we know that to be true because we've seen some of these teachers. Some of these teachers that we've seen on the internets over the years, you already know what time it is. You already know what time it is. They're going to go immediately, right when they get off work, to go to a protest and just act a fool. Then there's a bunch of people that smoke crack out there all day in Portland, Oregon, or wherever they at. They're going to be at the protest as well. So they're going to be kind of mingling with each other. Professional crack smokers and professional indoctrinators come together. That's Antifa for you right there.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I was just undercover at a couple anarchist book fairs over the weekend in both San Francisco and Seattle. And there were absolutely teachers in the crowd there. And I picked up multiple stickers and posters with Molotov cocktails, call to kill ICE, and calls to kill the police.
Wow. All right. Well, the police...
Well, there we go. So we already know what time it is with them. But yeah, it ain't just unemployed people. You got people that's working, teachers. We know it's a Starbucks baristas. We know them. Hey, shout out to the good Starbucks baristas. Shout out to the normie Starbucks baristas. Well, we've seen some, and we already know kind of what time it is. This is why I say I'm not really a big fan of going to Trader Joe's, because the people that work there, I can see what they are. If there's something that sparks off, we got a revolution that happens, and it's the left versus the right, and they identify me as the enemy, I'm out of luck. Okay, I can beat up maybe a transformer or two by myself. If I get attacked by maybe 2 transformers, I got a good chance. But if a whole store of them descend upon me, I'm out of luck. Okay, I'm out of luck. That's why I don't like going there. It's a security risk. But yeah, shout out to the Transformers and the Starbucks baristas. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. So we got Mayor Mohawk here. Mayor Mohawk, y'all know the mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson. He's not a big fan of the term illegal alien. You know, that seems to be kind of like a sensitive spot for some people. They say, oh, you can't say illegal alien. You got to say undocumented. I like to say illegal alien because it's accurate. I mean, we're not beating around the bush. We're getting straight to the point. Hey, they're here illegally. They should not be here at all. So we're going to say illegal alien. That's what it should be. But some don't like that phrase. It's too offensive. Okay, I think that's Pramila Jayapal right there, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know what's going on with that, but let's just watch some of this here.
We don't have illegal aliens. Yeah. I don't know if that's from some sort of sci-fi message that you wish have had. Well, listen, the legal term for my people were slaves. You want me to use that term too? So look, let's just get the language right. We're talking about undocumented individuals that are human beings. The last thing that I'm going to do is accept the type of racist, nasty language to describe human beings. And so as far as our spending, we don't.
So soft. So he got offended, and then the guy was like, well, it's a correct term, illegal alien. He's like, well, the correct term for my people was slaves. Bro, is there any more slavery in the USA? Are you still enslaved right now? If there was slavery right now and you were enslaved, it'd be the correct term. But ain't no more slavery. It's been done. So just like if you were an inmate, you know, if you're an inmate, you can still be a slave. But if you're an inmate, you're an inmate. If you're in prison, you're in prison. It's the correct term to say that you're an inmate. You're a prisoner because you're in prison. It's not racist to say it. It's an accurate term. You're an illegal alien. You're someone who shouldn't be here and you're here illegally. That is the correct term to say. Undocumented migrant. You're just trying to make this stuff sound fancy. It's like saying people of color versus colored. It's the same thing. You're making it sound fancy for no reason. Why would you be offended at someone saying color when you say people of color? It's the same word. It's you're just making it be less offensive. But if you like what you're hearing so far, you know what to do. Okay, this story I wanted to show because this guy had got deported. I know some of the dreamers watch me. Some of y'all caught the show and you say, you know what, ABL, it's not my fault that I'm here illegally because my parents brought me here when I was 5 years old or whatever the case may be. Okay, and I get it. I understand. But it's like, if that's allowed to happen, then it'll always happen. The anchor baby thing is an issue. Like, not even an anchor baby, because anchor babies, that's people that are born here and are allowed to stay. When the kids are born here, they become citizens and their parents are allowed to stay because the parents got to take care of the baby. And you can't deport the baby. In the case of the kids being here illegally, they may not go after the kids to deport first. Maybe they get their parents. Anyway, the point is they grew up here, never had a problem with ICE, and then you got a crackdown, and all of a sudden, you've been here 20 years and you're here illegally. This guy got deported and got sent to UK. Or he wound up in UK. Because I saw more from him on the internets. And he said his dad was from Rhodesia, which is now Zimbabwe. And I think that's part of, what is that? Is that part of like Germany? I don't know how that works. Anyway, let's watch this.
Yes, I got deported after 20 plus years and 97+% of my life in the United States. ICE agents picked me up in Chicago and threw me in jail for 3 weeks because my parents did not file my paperwork correctly. They brought me to the United States on a visa, overstayed that visa, had opportunities to appeal it in court, and my father did not show up to court. Now I'm in the United Kingdom, and this country sucks. And it has made me more America first, because you see that outside of London, all of England is a third world country, a dump. I hate it here, and I am excited and ready to go back to the United States, but I have a 10-year ban to wait out, and I'm waiting to bring my fiance over because I had a wedding scheduled that I had to cancel. And it's taken everything in me to forgive my parents for what they've done to me and what they've caused, but I'll keep going on. Yes.
So there we go. So give me your thoughts about my man. Again, he was deported, is now in UK. He was brought to the USA as a child, and he's like, look, I'm still America first. USA is the best place on earth. England, when she's just in the countryside, stuff like that, it's not like America at all. At all. And if you're from UK, if you're from England, shout out to you. But it's not the USA. It is what it is. He wants to go back. It's like, yo, once that 10-year ban is up, I'm going right back. And he didn't blame anybody, but he said, look, it's my parents' fault. They brought me here when I was a child. It's their fault. And he also tried to get citizenship, but he kept getting denied. So now he's in UK. So yeah, hey, do your 10 years. And in that period of time, try to come back, do it the right way, do the right thing. That's what I would say. Oh, and I got one more from him. I'm going to just show you a little bit because I figured somebody would not really, I figured there might be a little bit of questioning about his efforts to try and become a citizen. Okay, let's just watch some of this. Then I keep on going. This is a follow-up he had to that same video we just watched.
I want to be clear.
All right, bro, let's not whisper. Let's do this.
I want to be clear before I start that the purpose of me sharing my deportation story is not to garner sympathy or to make political commentary or to shift blame or to tell a sob story. It's really just telling my story because I think my story is unique and people in my life have told me that it might be of public interest, which, you know. So I had 20 years and I'm an adult and couldn't file on my own. I actually did file several appeals to the Executive Office for Immigration Review and the Board of Immigration Appeals. Ultimately, they all failed. Hopefully I can put it here somewhere. I don't know how to edit, but the killer line is that they ruled that me being 11 years old was not sufficient reason for missing court. Likewise, I am not innocent, of course. I overstayed. I hoped to wait until my wedding date to voluntarily self-deport and ran out of time. Stay tuned for part 2. Follow for more.
All right, so the best option would have been self-deporting because if you were to self-deport, then you wouldn't have had to get deported. And since he was deported, I think he's now facing that 10-year ban. If he was to self-deport and just go somewhere else for a while, what could have happened was he could have just applied to come to the country legally rather than facing that 10-year ban. So the moral of the story is self-deport. If you're here illegally and you're worried about being deported, self-deport and then trying to come back the right way. That'd be my advice. And I think that there should be a way to vet you quickly and get you into the country if you're somebody that is going to be an asset to the country. All right. Are you going to work? Are you going to be collecting food stamp benefits? Are you going to be a terrorist? Do you have any kind of criminal history? That'd be what I ask. All right. Rather than the border just being open to everybody, have an efficient and quick system, a way to get migrants to become legal citizens when they're not in the country. When you're over in your country of origin, apply over there and then come here legally, quickly. That's what I would say. But shout out to y'all. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. All right, hold on. Antara says, I love the resolve of men. He has a plan and his resolve is going to benefit his fiance unless she finds another guy. I roll. Yeah, hopefully she doesn't find another guy. Hopefully she stays with him because he seems to be somebody that's like, look, I'm not trying to make excuses. It's not trying to be a sob story. I'm just telling you what happened and now what I'm dealing with. To self-deport would have been the best way. Then I could have come back maybe a little bit sooner, doing it the correct way. Otto said, like Stephen A said, Trump is coming for all y'all. That's the funniest thing in the world because I guess somebody would see that video and think that he is like a black American and he's not. He's African and came here from Africa as a child, unlike ABL and other black Americans who were born in the USA. You're born in the USA. It don't matter where you came from originally. If you have parents who came from Vietnam and you were born in the USA, guess what? You're an American, period. You can't get deported. Now, if you came from Vietnam when you were 6 years old and never gets papers, and you're over here illegally, you can get deported. So the skin color, ethnicity, country of origin don't matter, legal or illegal. All right, but if you like what you're hearing so far, I know what to do. Oh, and let's go to Minnesota right quick. Speaking about Africans. Now, we got a lot of Somalis in Minnesota, and there's a lot of criminal stuff going on. Now, look, again, we got to have the best migrants come to the country. You don't want the criminal aliens coming over here doing improper things. In this case, you have up to 600 people registered to vote fraudulently. 600 just in Minnesota alone. Okay, and many of them came from Ilhan district. Let's check this out here.
New allegations in a Minnesota voter fraud case that first came to light this summer. 2 people pleaded guilty in federal court to being paid to help register voters. In all, 500 to 600 fraudulent voter registration applications were submitted to election officials in offices in 13 Minnesota counties.
Hi there, Frank. It was some sharp election workers in Carver County who realized the names and addresses on the voter registration forms did not match with any county residents. Prosecutors charged 2 people with 1 count each of voter registration fraud. According to the charging documents, the 2 were paid by an unnamed foundation to help register voters. The 2 defendants pled guilty this summer and have since moved out of state. The scope of the 2-year FBI and state investigation was not previously known.
And it's very significant that they said today it was 13 counties, between 500 and 600 fake voter registrations. And that's just from 2 of the independent contractors that worked with this group.
The investigation involved scouring hundreds of records.
On guidance from the FBI, the voter registration applications were mailed directly to the election lead, and instructions were shared to use gloves when handling the forms.
In testimony before the committee, Minnesota Secretary of State Steve Simon says the system designed to catch voter fraud worked.
This is a case about individuals who conspired to submit false voter registration applications. This is not a case about fraudulent votes. And this is ultimately a case of the system working.
How many were in the system is challenged.
Republican Committee Chair Kristen Robbins, who is running for governor, says she has additional concerns that the unnamed foundation that paid the 2 workers is funded by state taxpayer dollars.
99% of their budget comes from state grants. So this is a group that the state is funding and that then went out and did these voter registrations.
Now, the hearing left a lot of people, including us, with a lot of questions that were not answered. One of the big ones, the 12 other counties where the fraud was discovered are not being named.
All right, there we go. So I thought that there was no voter fraud. There was nothing like that going on. It never happens. It's something that the MAGAs want to talk about, although this investigation started in 2023 during Biden. Okay, but I thought you got Minnesota, blue state, 2023, under Biden, this whole thing started. But I thought it was the conservatives who always talked about voter ID being necessary and it's not really being a real thing because there's never any voter fraud. That's what I was told. Obviously, voter fraud is a real thing, and there are systems set up to be able to catch it. And then sometimes you got to go back and look to catch it more than what you would normally do from your regular tools you have to prevent it from being a thing. All right, now where we at? Oh, LA. Now listen, LA, shout out to LA, shout out to California in general. California, you guys are funny out there. I mean, really. And again, I always talk about California. It's the best and the worst. Some of the best humans, some of the worst humans. Now, the funny thing about the EV situation is that this is going to be opportunities for the bums to steal the components of the EV chargers. And since there's no punishment for these people, they're going to keep on doing it. Imagine you need to charge a vehicle up right now. Your battery's on 1% and you got to go somewhere immediately. You pull up to a charger. You want on your phone trying to find a charger desperately. You pull up to the charger. And here go Willie the crack smoker taking all the copper out of the charger. Of course, you can't use it because it's broken now. And now your car's on empty. You see what I'm saying? That kind of thing happens in a place like California. And if you don't believe me, just watch. Shout out Bruno Mars.
Could copper theft slow LA's move towards a zero emissions future? Thieves are targeting EV chargers for copper, cutting cords, even breaking into chargers using a hacksaw. According to CleanTech, there's 60,630 public and workplace EV chargers in the greater Los Angeles region.
For level 2 slower chargers, you're seeing anywhere between $650 to $700 for the connector plus the labor. But then when you start talking about DC fast chargers, can go all the way up to $1,500.
Those in the EV community support AB 476, which Governor Newsom just signed into law. It brings stricter penalties and enforcement to those paying for the stolen metal, something that's not worth a lot of money. EV charging companies are coming up with more innovative ways to prevent cables from being cut. That includes cables that disconnect from chargers, wireless charging, and more durable protection for cables, including one cable that actually sprays ink when cut.
So there we go. California, flying cars, nah. State-of-the-art technology everywhere. Just push button, dude. You could just teleport. Tunnels underground that go 1,000. Hey man, we gotta shoot out the ink from the cable so it don't get cut by the people out there trying to get the copper. Hey man, I was that close to getting an EV. When I had this house built, I said, "Yo, put a 240 in the garage right by where I park my car." Like put a two, but. When I did more research, I realized that the EV was not a very smart decision. Not yet. I mean, maybe in the future it will be when they get technology really right. But right now, it's not a good solution. It's not a good pick over a combustion engine vehicle because the elements are going to mess with you. If it's too hot, if it's too cold, you got to find a charger. There's not always chargers around. It takes forever to charge sometimes. You be sitting there, held hostage. Don't nobody got time for that. Y'all got to catch a flight, and then I got to stop at the EV station. That's too much time I don't have to spend. I don't have that kind of time to waste. And then when you get to the actual EV charger, to sit for an hour, the copper is missing because it's California. And what you going to do? All right. Now, hold on. Where do I want to go next? Oh, now, they have ways to combat the crime in California. They have ways to combat the crime. And what they do is, like, let's say, for example, at the Wingstop in Oakland, they create a fortress on the inside. A fortress. Hey, you want to go to this little fast food type spot for some chicken wings? Hey, we have the best security anywhere. So look, bulletproof glass, nobody outside, everything locked down at this Wingstop.
Check this out. We're out here in Oakland at Wingstop. The entire place is locked down like Fort Knox. Really thick glass, bulletproof windows. Gotta talk through an intercom when you order your food and get it through a little cubby hole right here. That's insane. Welcome to Oakland, baby. Check this out.
That's too much. That's too much, man. I've never in my life seen bulletproof glass at a fast food joint. At a gas station, okay, yeah, that makes sense. At one of the little check cashing places, okay, you know. A Wingstop bulletproof glass, like what's going on? You saw a little cubby in it, so it's a little opening right there. They put your food in that, and you could just get it from right there. So you can't try to rob them, put a gun in there, try to do anything like that. They're safe behind the glass. Pick your food up right there, and then that'll be that. Oakland. Okay, Oakland, California. That does not appear to be very safe. Okay, even though it's bulletproof glass everywhere, this neighborhood, I feel like right when I leave here, it's going to be a guy with a gun in the parking lot saying, hey, give me the chicken wings and your money. So I'm good. Hey, are any of you in that area in Oakland, Bay Area, California? if you are in that area, but not in Oakland, do you go to Oakland? Y'all let me know. Okay, y'all let me know what's happening. Okay. Now, staying on California, Gavin, they want Gavin to run. I think he's going to be the nominee. But the more I see of him, the more that we see of him, the weirder he is. And that'll hurt him. I got 2 videos from Gavin that I just kind of hammered that point on home.
And, forgive my behavior, but I have a Patriot site where I am now selling knee pads with Donald Trump's signature that I sent to some of my friends, corporate leaders here in California, that I'll be sending to the University of Virginia and their president, that I'm sending to members of the media. It's extraordinary what's happening in this country. 249 years, the best of the Roman Republic, Greek democracy, popular sovereignty, system of checks and balances, all of that on the line. And
so, Gavin, I don't get it. Knee pads with Trump's signature on it. I don't really understand. I don't get it. The crowd was so quiet, you could hear a pin drop. The crowd was so quiet, you could hear a pin drop because they don't know what's happening. Look, if you guys, because you guys are very smart in the chat. If you guys can please let me know what he was talking about right there, I'd love to hear it. I would love to hear what he was talking about right there because I don't know. All I know is that he has a little bit of TDS. If I could just glean anything from that, I would just say TDS. If he was to go to a doctor and say that, the diagnosis should be TDS. Knee pads, what? Hey, your guess is as good as mine. Oh, was it a joke that failed? Gavin, if you're gonna tell jokes got to make sense. I got to be able to understand the joke. You can't just say things that you think should be humorous but are not humorous. Now,
60.
Here's Gavin talking about, hey, if you're anti-woke, you're anti-black. You can't make this stuff up. Let's watch, shall we?
60s world. You got the Supreme Court talking about getting rid of the Voting Rights Act. And that's very real.
Yeah.
That may likely happen in just a matter of months. I mean, they're rewriting history, censoring historical facts. It's a unbelievable moment. All this anti-woke stuff is just anti-black.
Mm-hmm.
Period, full stop. All the CRT, ESG, DEI stuff, that's all this is.
Mm-hmm.
It's this great purge, and it's happening in real time. And I'm sitting here, and I feel like, luckily I'm governor, but like we're not doing enough.
Right.
We're not calling this out. We're not drawing a line here. And again, it's not about Democrats or Republicans. It's about who we've
right and wrong,
man. Yeah,
right
and goddamn wrong. Daylight and darkness.
I feel like anytime
60s world.
Okay, first of all, you on the Black podcast, Matt Barnes, Stephen Jackson. I remember Stephen Jackson. That was George Floyd's friend. Different story. Anyway, so you on the Black podcast trying to just relate to them. Oh, it's anti-black. What? DEI? Being against DEI is anti-black? Sir, DEI, that's a welfare program, a corporate welfare program for a lot of the undesirables. A lot of the LGBTs, and a lot of them are going to be white. A lot of white women that were not good enough. It's for them because if you don't have a black person, which in California you don't, ain't nobody black in California, you could tell me that they there. I can't tell. If you got black people in California, I don't know where they at. They must be all underground. Maybe they out doing music videos. I don't know what's going on, but I don't see them. Anyway, if you don't have a black person to hire, just hire a transgender, a white man, because it'd be the same thing. It'd be the same diversity that you're looking for. Okay, there's no man to hire. There's no trans man to hire, trans woman, whatever. Okay, get a white woman who has a slight disability. You probably couldn't even see it. It's probably not even real, but it works as diversity. So when we say we're anti-DEI, We're against people being put into a position because they meet certain criteria that are not related to the job. It doesn't matter what color you are. But of course, you're going to be on Auto Smoke with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson and pander to them. So whack. But yeah, there goes Max Headroom, Gavin Newsom, on the podcast talking about DEI is anti-black. Hey, what do y'all think? Do you think that being against DEI is anti-black, or is it not that way? Y'all give me some feedback in the comments. Yeah, some woke their sleep. They're comatose, exactly. All right, so Kamala, hey, do y'all think Kamala has a chance in 2028 to become the president? Do you think she has a chance to become the nominee at all? Do you think Kamala will be back in politics at all ever again? Because remember, before she was a vice president, before she tried to become president, she was senator in California and also attorney general in California. Will she go back to politics, or is she finished? What I saw on the campaign trail was somebody that was frustrated, somebody that couldn't put it together, a stress bucket, drinking. I saw someone unfit for the job. Hold on. You guys saying no, no way, nope. No, no. Okay, so this is going to be a snippet from the interview, and the interview's going to come out tomorrow. It'll come out tomorrow on BBC London. All right, so this is a snippet from it. Let's watch some of this.
In terms then of what is next for you, you write very powerfully about the differences that many women have made to your life, whether that was your meeting with Angela Merkel or the experience of growing up with your extraordinary mother or the stories of your baby nieces, Amara and Leela. When are they going to see a woman in charge in the White House?
I got to pause because BBC like the copyright. But yeah, as far as a woman being in the White House, hey, it could happen, but I don't really see it happening anytime soon.
In their lifetime, for sure.
Could it be you? Possibly. Have you made a decision yet?
No, I have not.
But you say in your book, I'm not done.
That is correct. I am not done. I have lived my entire career a life of service, and it's in my bones. And there are many ways to serve. I've not decided yet what I will do in the future beyond what I am doing right now.
But you've been very clear that it's a possibility you might run again to become president. And in my experience interviewing politicians, when someone says I'm not done, it means they are thinking seriously about running. But when you look at the bookies' odds, they put you as an outsider, even behind Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
That's crazy, though. That's crazy. The Rock, hey, I'm going to ask y'all, would you vote for The Rock if he ran? Would you do it? Now, look, Dwayne, Rocky Maivia, I've been a fan since the beginning. But no, you're not. We're not going to have The Rock as a president. I'm sorry. It ain't happening. That's going to be a thing that I would never sign off on.
I mean, is that underestimating you?
I think there are all kinds of polls that will tell you a variety of things. I've never listened to polls. If I listened to polls, I would have not run for my first office or my second office. And I certainly wouldn't be sitting here in this interview.
All right, there we go. But yeah, the polls are right, though. The polls told you don't run in 2020. She came in so far back in 2020, it was crazy. Behind Amy Klobuchar, she up there shaking. Pete Buttigieg, a married man, married to a man with adopted kids, people that Americans wouldn't really want to vote for anyway. You came in way behind them. She was universally disliked, and it didn't change in 2024. In 24, what happened? They just allowed her to run, although nobody voted for her. And that was crazy. The people that say no kings, right? The no kings crowd have no issue with Kamala being selected to run in 2024 when nobody voted for her. They wanted Joe Biden, not Kamala Harris. And then when we said, you know what, Democrats, you can't do stuff like, you can't just appoint her to run for president. She has to be voted for in the primary. That's called our system. That's called quote unquote democracy. Look, she's on the ticket, so it's fine. Don't worry about it. But she was the vice president, though. I didn't want her to be the president. If I hire somebody to be a boss, a CEO, right, of a company, and then they are hiring a bunch of employees to work under them, and one of the employees they hire then becomes CEO, I'm like, wait a minute, wait just 1 minute. We didn't hire you to be a CEO. We hired him. We want him, not you. Just because we hired him does not mean he could just appoint his replacement like that. You got to go through the board. And in this case, the board is the American people. We have to go through the process to approve who we're going to pick to be the nominee to go run. And it's not you, Kamala. And it won't be you in 2028. I think it'd be Kevin and maybe AOC. Either way it goes, it's going to be fun. Now, this is a guy who's being told the exact same thing I just told you about Kamala. Kamala was not elected, she was selected, and she was not selected by you or I or anybody in the country aside from the powers that be. But let's watch some of this, shall we? And you already know what's going on, okay? We got a guy at least 65, 70 with a face painted orange and a Trump wig and the crown on. These people love Trump more than they want to admit. They love him so much because this is pure dedication. I'm a big Trump fan, but I've never said, you know what, let me just dress up like Trump and go somewhere in public. I've never in my life thought that. Ain't nothing wrong with that, but I never had the idea to do it. If you do that, that means you love Trump. And there's a thin line between love and hate.
I hope I see your obituary in the paper tomorrow.
Okay.
That'd be my message, yeah.
Okay. So you hope that this is his last birthday?
Well, I don't want him dead. I just want him not in office anymore.
Well, obituary would mean dead.
I know. I was being sarcastic. I would like him out of office.
Out of office.
Yeah.
Would you like J.D. Vance to be the president
No,
then?
I would not.
Okay.
Yeah, I would not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who would you like to be the president?
Kamala Harris right now, but she didn't win. But
Can I point out something that we say no kings and no authoritarianism, but Kamala Harris, no one voted for her.
yes, they did. Half the country voted for her, so let's not go there.
No one was voted for her to be the nominee.
Yes, they did.
Isn't that what, authoritarian?
You're going down the wrong road right now with me. I wouldn't go any further.
Oh, now see, look, now you about to get violent. Look, what I heard right there and what I saw right there in his body language is, hey, you know what? You are challenging me and you're right. And since I can't defeat you with my words, I'm going to defeat you this way. Are y'all feeling the same thing I'm feeling, or is it just me?
What does that mean?
I'm not going to talk to you anymore. That's what it means.
I just think it's ironic that no one voted for her to be the nominee. They just selected her like a king gets selected, right?
But keep it to yourself, okay? Bye. Have a good day. See ya. Take care.
What's your other sign say?
You don't need to see it.
Okay.
None of your business. I hope.
Man, these people are hilarious. They're really, really funny. But that right there, look, the freeze frame. Look, bro, don't message me talking about that was a bad freeze frame. I don't think there's many good freeze frames on you, sir. You have on an orange face right now with a funny wig and a crown and a blue cutoff t-shirt. Like you about to go work at the pool or something like this. But anyway, she was telling them the right thing. And when you hit them with the facts, they always want to back off or get violent or some kind of way exit the conversation because they know they don't have anything. Hey, go one step deeper below the surface and they fall apart. Always. If he was to fully transition, okay, because you might be kind of halfway transitioned, all right? If he was to fully transition, become Bruce Jenner, he would have tried to fight her. Because that's the ultimate transgender form, is the man who thinks he's a woman and now can fight women because he's a woman. He been wanting to fight girls, but he can't because he's a guy. But now he's a girl, he can fight girls. But bro, that's not how that works. You still look like you about to go be a plumber after this. So don't try to say that you're a girl now and want to just be boxing girls in the face. That's not how that works at all. Okay, that ain't really it.
Denver's not stacked.
All right, let's keep on going. So this person fled the USA and is now in Costa Rica. But guess what? She thinks she may have made a mistake. Okay? She thinks she may have made a mistake. All right, let's put it on the screen right quick and let's get it rocking.
If you're an American who is considering leaving the country to move somewhere else, make sure that the location you choose isn't based off of fear and lack mentality. I regret moving to Costa Rica. It's a beautiful country. I love the nature and wildlife, but moving to a third world country where I don't know the language, I don't have any connections, resources, or opportunities, that didn't make my life any easier by any means. I was just so scared of what's going on in America politically that I was in fight or flight. I was like, how am I gonna afford to survive? Like, how am I gonna find a place to live? Like, I was freaking out. And then I came here and made my life so much harder. And now I'm trying to go back and I just like wish I didn't leave in the first place. And it's so weird to like want to move to America right now with everything that's going on. But I just left so many privileges and resources behind and I want them back.
Hey, you know what? If you're still a citizen, you could come back. Now, would I welcome you back? I mean, not really. If you would say, hey, ABL, do you want her back? I'd be like, nah, she can stay over there. It's fine. But now you realize how good America is. A lot of Americans have not really traveled. When I say that, I'm talking about going somewhere else and living there and having to survive there. So you don't understand what it's like to have to go over there and live. You could be a tourist somewhere. That's one thing. But when you live there permanently, it's something else. You realize now how good America is. And I've been saying, look, this is why I'm Captain America. America is the best country on planet Earth. The entire world risks their life and limb to come here every single day of every single year. That's the truth. People could say, oh, I love my country. I love my country. That's fine. Love your country. But let's not act like we don't know who's the top dog. That's the USA. Flaws and all, mass shootings and drugs, still, we're the best. And what we're doing on the right is fighting to make that be the reality still. So we don't fall and become like, you know, other places. I ain't gonna say nobody's name, but you already know what I'm talking about. So yeah, shout out to her. Hey, sometimes you got to just go away, do without, to realize how good you got it. You don't know what you got till it's gone. But it's a lesson to learn. So whenever I see somebody talking about, you know, they want to leave, they want to go somewhere else, I'm like, you don't want to go nowhere. And the celebrities are the worst. They say, when Trump first got elected, I'm leaving, I'm going to Canada. 10 years later, almost, from the first time he got elected, they've not gone anywhere. They're enjoying their lives in the US of A. And if they do go somewhere, they go somewhere like Scotland, England, Canada. That's racist. Go to Jamaica, they speak English. Why you got to go to Canada? Why you got to go to why are you in France or somewhere like this? Why not go to Jamaica or St. Kitts or somewhere like that? Okay, that's not America. And they speak it in English. But anyway, I digress. Speaking about racist, did you guys see this? Did you see my video with Ari Horowitz from he was on Fox at one point, but this video is for Prager University. He's out there asking people in New York City, some in East Village, the white liberals, and then some in Harlem, the black folks. Do you think bail is racist? So if someone is arrested, like, I don't know, for suspicion of murder, is it racist to have a system where they could get bailed out and they got to have a certain amount of money to be able to do it? Now, in the case of murder, if you have evidence that someone probably did that, there probably shouldn't be any bail. For example, you go to the scene of the crime, you see a body on the ground, shot up, and the guy has a gun in his hand. You get the gun run it and it matches, he probably should stay in jail until the trial, especially if there's a rap sheet, because you already know what's going to happen if you let him out. He'll do the same exact thing again. I got caught and they let me out and I'm crazy and I'm a killer. I'm going to go do it again. That has happened time and time again in New York City. But let's see what they say when asked the question, is bail racist?
Do you think bail is racist?
Bail is absolutely racist.
And let's pause right here. We see what's happening right here. Okay, you got Bill Gronkowski looking character with a pigtail trying to be cutesy. People like this are the ones who are responsible for soft on crime policies, because they vote too. They surely vote, and sometimes they actually take office. We see that in Minnesota. We got one of these in office in Minnesota. We got one of these in office in the U.S. Congress. The dude, what's his name, Tim or whatever. Okay, but that right there is a problem.
Do you think that bail is racist?
Yes.
And do you think that bail is a tool to oppress black and brown people?
Of course it is. It is, yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
Absolutely, in many ways.
Jails are so racist.
They're so racist.
Is it racist for a judge to say, hey, you have a history of violent crime?
Yes.
And to keep them because of that reason?
Yes.
Your criminal history should not play any role whatsoever.
I don't think so, no.
Do you think that if I went to Harlem and asked them, they would say yes?
They would say yes.
Bail?
Yeah.
Like bailing people out?
Yeah.
No?
It's always funny when he goes out there and asks these questions to the white liberals and the black folks, because the white liberals are always, whatever it is some kind of progressive thing, they'll always agree with the progressive thing. But the black folks, when you ask them, it's like, what are you talking about? Like, it's confusing. The other question he asked before this video, a while back, like probably years ago, was the issue of having voter ID. Is that racist? The white liberals say, yes, it is racist to require voter ID. And the black folks were like, huh? What you mean? They were confused, because we all have ID. If you don't have any ID on you, you just don't want to have ID on you, because it's not hard to get. So if you don't want to have ID, then you don't want to vote either. So it don't even matter. You're not being disenfranchised. But anyway, let's keep on going.
Why?
You get locked up, you got to pay bail.
Yeah.
That concept, just giving bail, is that racist?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think bail is racist. No.
No, because money doesn't have anything to do with somebody's actions.
A consequence for everything you do.
Because everyone get locked up, and it doesn't matter what race, what religion you believe in.
I think if somebody has the ability to be bailed out, like if that's been granted to them, then why not? I don't think it has anything to do with race.
So yeah, obviously it's not racist. The black folks are going to tell you what's really going on. A lot of the white liberals out there, they don't even know nothing, really. They don't know. They think they know because they read certain things. They're told certain things by certain people, but they don't really understand what's going on because they don't have any real world experience with it. But when you actually out there and you're part of the community that people want to speak on all the time, you understand what's going on more than anybody else on the outside. It's common sense, basic common sense. Okay. Yeah, a lot of recidivism that can be reduced if you just had a system in place that made sense. Bail is a thing that does make sense. And sometimes there shouldn't be any bail given. And when I say that, I don't mean zero cash bail. You just get out. I'm talking about you get remanded. You cannot get out, period. Because you got a long rap sheet. You got a murder charge. Keep you in there. Keep you in there till the trial's over with. And you're probably going to go to prison anyway. So let's just, and you know, for those, it shouldn't be any bail. That's, you know, but anyway. So, hold on. Let me see if I can play this. I want to play this right quick because I just found it. It's kind of crazy. Would you be able to wear a mask while swimming? Okay, the same people that say that bail's racist also wear masks while swimming.
I say mask while swimming laps.
So I got this full face snorkeling mask. It is just has a strap on the back and a valve to breathe from. And then I've taped a mask to it really tightly, and I'm able to just continue my swimming. And there's actually been a lot of studies done, seen here, about adaptations via 3D printer for snorkeling masks. I haven't found any of these to work because they're too low and would potentially get hit by water.
I have a question. If you're wearing a snorkeling mask, why wear a mask under that? Isn't that being redundant? Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm tripping.
So I'm hoping that maybe I can figure out a way to 3D print my own and make it taller. But here's me swimming with a paddleboard in case you're worried about your mask getting too wet. And as you can see here, it gets a little wet. But the paddleboard keeps you above water more, so your mask wouldn't get as wet, but you can always just replace it after each swim.
All right, there we go. So what do y'all think? You can get to wear your big crazy painter respirator type mask while swimming. You put a bigger mask on top of that. What do y'all think? Are you gonna go do that when you go to vacation or something like this? Go to one of the tropical islands or something? Hey, I gotta put my mask on. I can't get COVID-19 out here. So I'm gonna put on a snorkeling mask, top of my regular paper plastic mask, and then I'm good money. Then I'm good to go. What do y'all think? Good idea, bad idea? Y'all let me know. You know what? And I was almost thinking maybe the regular mask is not going to be on underwater. Maybe I got that wrong, but of course it was. Of course it was. Hey, but and they're the ones who say that Baylor is racist. That's them. That's the people who say Baylor is racist. So we got a question. Maternity leave. This is a thing that some want, some think needs to happen more of in the USA.
How much?
And then people think if you live abroad that you get maternity leave and it's better than living in the United States. But let's hear the reality, okay? And I'm gonna point something out because you're gonna hear. I don't even want to spoil it. Let's just get into it, and I'll point it out when it happens.
How much maternity leave did you take?
With my son, I was off for 14 months. With my daughter, I was off for 10 months.
And I'm going to cry. So I'm from America, and we had no time for maternity. So I had to take short-term disability, and after 3.5 months, I had to go back to work.
Okay, so she said that she didn't get any time for maternity, but she still got 3.5 months off. Okay, let's just keep it right there. And the person in UK, she got 10 months government sponsored. That's not sustainable. Maybe that's part of the reason why UK is a third world spot outside of London. But anyway, let's keep on going.
Disability, and after 3.5 months, I had to go back to work.
For me, it was 4 months.
I'm Swiss, so it's 3 months.
That's already way too little. Like really, really way too little. You just recover physically, and you really need to be there for your child.
I think it's around 5 weeks, if I'm not mistaken.
So it's 14 weeks, which is not a lot, and there is no maternity leave before you give birth. So if you're feeling well, you go literally to work until you give birth.
I got 4 months, and then I took another 2 to be with her longer. I needed at least 6, arguably probably a year. It wasn't fully covered. It was really very difficult even before birth to even get time off. So it just comes to a point when you're pregnant, your feet betray you, your body betrays you, you really can't move and get up and go. How much national pay?
Hey, please, YouTube, don't strike me over the ABBA in the background. But what you're hearing so far is some interesting numbers. The U.S. number was similar to, what was that, Switzerland? Hold on. Yeah, to Switzerland and Netherlands. Netherlands said 4 months. Switzerland said 3 months. U.S. 3.5 months. Using something called this right here, but it's not the same thing as maternity leave, although it behaves as the same. If you get that time off and went back to work afterward, what's the difference between that and maternity leave? But in the UAE, they get 5 weeks. Okay, you get 1 month and back to it, but that's a different culture. Way different culture. Okay, Switzerland 14 weeks, like I said, same thing before. And she, from USA, got 4 months from the employer and then took 2 more months and wanted a year.
Receive. So one of our American clients said she had 4 months.
I think it's something like 6 weeks.
Between 8 weeks and 3 months, I think, in general. Is that not right? The answer is actually 0.
Oh. How do people do this?
0. It's not valued.
We need to value caregiving.
I mean, that's, you know, like that's a dishonest, like the end of this is dishonest. They're saying that they don't get maternity leave in the USA, but we just saw women that said they got maternity leave in the USA. It might have been called something else, but it don't matter because it's the same thing as everybody else. And it's right around the same time, about the average, I would say, in between the extremes of the UK and then UAE, or what was that? Yeah, UAE, it's like 3.5 to 4 months. That's like the basic thing for maternity leave. So what should be the appropriate time for maternity leave? Should it be 3.5 months, 4 months, a year? What should it actually be? You'll let me know. Okay, I'm gonna read some of these comments here. Sue says I only got 6 weeks back in 92. Carolyn, it used to be 6 weeks. Okay, Carolyn says 6 weeks. That's what it used to be back in the day. Okay, CB says in Canada, or was that California or Canada? Some people get 9 months, even with abuela, cousins, tios at home. That's wild. That is super wild. Okay. And JB said paternity leave 5 years. That's funny. 18 years, huh? Yeah, the whole time. And raise a kid that way. E Loves Winning says in the 50s and 60s, it was a mandatory 12 months period. Wow. Sapphire P says if they need 6 to 12 months, then they need to look for another job. I'm going to say a day and a half. That's funny. AMG says the U.S. has Family Leave Act, but every company can define its own length of time for the maternity leave benefit. Okay, there we go. Janine says 2 weeks in 1999. Wow, 2 weeks. It's like, hey, drop that baby off and, you know, just get back on your feet. Come on, back to work. Get back to it. But, you know, women working is kind of a recent thing, though. That's not really a thing that, well, I ain't going to say women working. Women have always worked, but they have not worked like the way they work now. Women worked in the farms with the family. Women worked in the home, raising the kids and doing things at home, but they did not work outside the home until recently en masse. Women have been able to work, but it's not like the way it is now where you expect the mom and the dad to work outside the home. That was on the thing until recently. So now I know I did a video about that, how the one girl was like, well, I don't want to work. Take that right away. It's like, nah, you got it now. You want equality? Okay. Here and now you're dealing with the results of equality. Okay, 8 weeks is fair, says Darren. Yeah, but I think the main thing that I saw from this was 3.5 to 4 months is average in Western Europe and the USA. All right, but if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, this young lady right here, I don't think she took no time off. It's like, look, I'm going right back to work, okay? That baby ain't nothing. I pop the baby out at work and keep working my shift when I'm done, okay? So this is one of those, what do you do, how much you make videos. All right, so you see young lady right there. All right, now I don't know what's going on, but this is like the bull dagger aesthetic in the good way, a true one, a woman that can really work with the men, strong, rough. Shout out to her.
What do you do for a living?
I am a laborer.
And how long have you been doing that?
30 years this past July.
How much are you making in this job, and how has pay changed since you started to now?
In 95, I was making, I don't know, like $30 an hour, which is a lot.
Yeah, back then.
And then we went union and went down to like 20.
Okay.
But I see now 30 years later where the money went. Back then I didn't understand, but I do make over 6 figures.
Nice.
I mean, I don't want to tell you exactly how much.
No problem. And you get great benefits, I'm sure, with the union as
yeah.
well.
Plus a retirement.
Oh, that's huge.
And I'm too young. I could retire now, but I'm too young. I have to wait till I'm 58. So
Oh
I
my
have
gosh.
2 more years.
And what would you advise to anyone interested in doing this? How can they get into a job like this? How can they get into a union? Any advice?
Just go down to the local unions and try. The best one, I'm going to tell you right now, if I had to do it over, I would be an electrician.
Okay.
But the elevator guys, they're the ones that make the most money. They're at like 75 to 80 bucks an hour.
Ooh, okay. Good money. All right. Maybe we'll try to find one.
All right, there we go. So yeah, shout out to the laborers, shout out to the blue collar guys and girls out there, 100%. And that's where it's going to be at though in the future, the blue collar stuff, the actual, the physical labor or stuff that's like not so much computer based. That's going to be a lot of money in that. Guys got F-150s out there doing stuff like that. They're getting big money. A lot of lawn care guys, they're doing it big. Yeah, they're really doing it big. Brick and mortar guys, lawn care guys, HVAC, all of that type of stuff. And if you have skills, you could also save money that way. So, for example, a lot of the Hispanic guys, they, know how to do construction and stuff. So if they get a house, like let's say they come over here together, it's a bunch of them coming together to the country, they can go to a neighborhood that's kind of run down and build it back up because they already got the skills to do it. So they get a house that's like abandoned. It was an old video. Y'all probably seen it. Classic video where there was a black guy talking about in his neighborhood, some Hispanics moved in to an abandoned house. It was abandoned, had been left for a long time. It was a car out in the front that was left. Anyway, the guys come to the neighborhood and they're asking the guy if the cars belong to anybody. They're making it known that they're moving in. They get there and the next day the house is brand new. From being abandoned, the very next day the house was brand new. Mexican guy pulled up. Him and his friends had a pickup truck, some Modelos, and got to work. If you could do stuff like that, then you're going to be in a good place, even if you don't do that for a living. If you have that skill, you won't have to put 10, 15, 100 grand into a house to fix it back up. You see what I'm saying? You could do it yourself with just the labor and paying your friends in Modelos and whatever else. All right, let's keep on going here. And speaking of drinking, this video came out about alcohol consumption being down in the USA. Now, I want to ask y'all, why is that? Why is the alcohol consumption going down?
The world's largest alcohol distributor, Diageo, is freezing 2 of the major whiskey brands. So Diageo is staging a $625 million targeted shutdown. These are the guys that make Johnny Walker, Smirnoff, Guinness, and they have products sold in over 180 countries, guys. So in late 2022, it paid about $100 million for Balcones Distilling. That's in Waco, Texas, and is going to bet on like the U.S.'s single malt boom. But basically, it just has slowed down. The consumption of all the hard alcohols has really slowed the last couple of years, and U.S. whiskey volumes in particular have plunged to decade-low levels. So the federal data basically shows that Americans are on a 28% year-over-year low of whiskey consumption. So if you're wondering why that is, I can't give context to this. I'm not a big drinker myself, but I will say that whenever you have a business go down that's this substantial out there for distillers, for American products of any type of consumption, it's concerning. We have a lot of layoffs so far in 2025, over 800,000. I hope that the Diageo slowdown is not going to result in layoffs for the people that work at this plant. But let me know, are you guys consuming less spirits and alcohol than you were in previous years? And what's the cause of that for you?
Okay, I think what's going on is, first of all, the economy is low. People don't. It's less disposable income. So if you have less disposable income and you got to put more on your necessities, on your actual living expenses, you're going to cut some of the pleasure things, some of the guilty pleasures, some of the sin stuff like alcohol. But beyond that, weed is going up. Other drugs are going up as well. A lot of your street stuff, the fentanyl all over the place. and the fentanyl is cheap. That's everywhere. And then the weed going up. You got a smoke shop on every corner. At one point, I never saw a smoke shop. At one point, that wasn't really a thing. Like, I didn't start seeing those until recently. I don't remember ever seeing a weed store in my entire life until, I want to say maybe in my 30s. I can't recall ever seeing that. But now you have those on every corner. Like, even where I live at, go to a certain place, you see one right here, one right here, one right there, one right there. It's everywhere. So I think the weed stores are cutting in on the alcohol consumption, but also the economy is cutting in on it. But what do y'all think? And do you think that Gen Z is becoming healthier because of their lack of alcohol consumption? Because I think they said it's among them too. It's among them more than anybody else. They're not drinking as much. And a lot of them, they vape hard. Okay, they vape with the weed, the nicotine, or whatever. You probably got cigarette smoke maybe going up potentially, maybe a slight increase because of the vaping. And if you can't get a vape, hey, just go to the store, get your pack or whatever. I know how y'all do with them pack of cigarettes, and do that rather than smoking. So y'all give me your feedback on that. Why do you think that's going on? But I think economy and the weed. Okay, now I'm gonna ask y'all a question. I got one more video to show, then I'm gonna get to some calls. Some may think this is not a good thing to do, but I'm gonna ask y'all. Hear him out, hear what he says, and then let me know if it's good that he did that or if it's bad. Okay? If it's good that he did this or if it's bad.
I just had a lady call me and said that she had a piece of stone fall off of her foundation. And she told me, she said, hey, I've already called like 6 different contractors, and either they don't answer the phone or they answer the phone and they tell her that the job's too small and they ain't got time to do it. And I'm just like, what do you mean they ain't got time to do it? This is literally like a 2-minute job, tops. And I told her straight up, I said, ma'am, usually I have a $1,500 minimum, no matter how small the job is. But hey, I'm actually in a good mood today. The sun's shining. I told her I can come over there in the next hour or so and I'll do it for $1,200. And she was like, oh my gosh, you're actually going to come do it? And I said, yes, ma'am. So here I am. I'm going to show you how easy this is. Stop turning down the small jobs, man. So you're going to get your caulk, you clip the end of it off, just like that. And I use Gorilla Glue, the heavy duty stuff. And literally, all you're going to do, put in your caulk gun. See this right here? Just go ahead and just lather that stuff on there. Get it on there thick. Just like that. And even get your stone. Put some on the back of your stone, just like that. Just like that. And all you're gonna do, push it right on there, just like that. And that job's done. That's $1,200. It doesn't get no easier than that. So why are people turning down these small jobs when it's that easy? Upcharge, baby.
Okay, so is that good practice or not? So for that little installation right there, $1,200. Now, what he's saying is, well, the lady was calling me and said that everybody else said no because it's too small. To do something like that is like I gotta come out. It's just I only got time. It wouldn't make sense. He says he got a minimum $1,500, but for you to go for $1,200. Would you do that job for that amount of money, or would you pass it up because it's too small, or for less? What do y'all say about that? Now, I get it. I understand the whole thing about it's too small of a job. You don't want to go take it. But if you do take it, it's got to make sense for you financially. You see what I'm saying? It's crazy to charge that much to do that, but it's like at a certain point, you got to have a son or a nephew to do that for you rather than calling the big guys. It's just like what I was saying about, I did a video a while back about a guy that had some mice in his house. And guys were talking about, yeah, it's like $20,000. If you call somebody to exterminate 3 blind mice in your house and they got a big truck and signage and marketing, they're going to charge you big money like that because really you shouldn't be calling them. You should be calling First of all, your own self to go to the store, get some little traps and get rid of the mice, or a friend or something like that to help you. You shouldn't be calling no big company. So what do y'all think? Good practice, bad practice? What's going on? Now, for me, if it was like a low amount of money, I wouldn't even go out to do it. I wouldn't even go out to do it. But somebody got to do it. So what's up? But anyway, shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right, let's get to some calls here. The number to call, 706-406-3287. But first, I got super chats on deck. Then I'm going to get to the calls. And again, the number to call, 706-406-3287. Thank you to Apple Blocker, All Puff Daddy. I got a few from him. Apple says, ABL, don't feel sorry for them. Marks who want to play poker with third-tier NBAers, the only to lose big bucks. Tony Soprano and his crew. They deserve to lose. That's right on. Thank you to Apple again who says, hey, FBI, the 1980s called. They want the RICO cases back. Come on, FBI. Leave Tony Soprano alone. FBI arrest the biggest criminal syndicate, Democrats. He also says, hold on. Reminder, allegedly, President Joe Biden took bribe money from Communist Party of China. Where are the indictments? Where are the arrests? Thank you to Apple again who says, ABL, are you a gambler? Casinos, you like blackjack, poker, dice, slot machines? How about bingo? Should sports betting be banned? Yes or no? Why or why not? Well, I answered the question earlier, but I don't gamble. I'm not a gambler. I've only gambled like on occasion. I gambled when I did my ad for Cauchy. Remember that for the election? And if you gambled on, if you did that gamble like I told you to for Cauchy, you made some money. And some of y'all did make some money. I got emails saying thank you for that, ABL. I appreciate it. And if you don't remember, the Cauchy thing was betting on the president. Okay, who's going to win, Trump or Kamala? I was very confident that Trump was going to win. Kamala did so bad. She was polling so poorly. The media hated her. Her own fans hated her. And there was so much of a resurgent force behind Trump because America saw just how bad Biden was. See, like the girl that went to Costa Rica or Bali, wherever she went, you thought it'd be better over there than the USA until you went there and realized it wasn't. You thought Joe Biden would be a better president until you got him and he wasn't. Now you want to come back. Now you want to come back to me. Shout out to Thanos. That's President Trump. But anyway, I don't know how I got down that road. But I don't gamble. Oh, I was talking about Cauchy. Yeah, I knew that Trump was going to win because everything was in his favor and everything was against Kamala. So I was like, yo, put your house on that and you're going to get your house again. You're going to double your house up. But that's the only time I really gamble on stuff like that. I don't do no sports betting. And I've been to Vegas. I've been to the slot machines. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't know what I was doing. It wasn't fun. It wasn't a good environment. I don't like cigarette smoke all on my face, cigar smoke all on my face. I can't breathe. My lungs are not built for your cigar from the gas station. But sports betting should be more, it should be regulated. It shouldn't be so readily available. It shouldn't be on your phone. The sports bets apps, the worst thing you could have ever done because that just spread the problem of gambling addiction. It's like having heroin on your phone. That's kind of what it's like. But anyway, I don't want to say something. Apple says Frank Peter says a good point. Where is FBI investigation into Speaker Nancy Pelosi's alleged insider trading? By the way, FBI spied on 9 Republican senators. Good question. Thank you to JV says, warning, Uncle ABL just took $2 from me. Thank you for that, man. I appreciate it. Thank you to Ryan Henderson who says, a ballroom is much better than a tent. The only complaints they have are because Donald J. Trump is building in his presidency. That's the problem, exactly. That is the only issue. Okay, thank you to Mauricio91 who says, who she thinks she is, Chelsea Clinton? Thank you to Ron who says, let's not forget the basketball court that Obama made on taxpayer dollars, and we can't even play on it. Exactly. The thing about it is, maybe one day I'll go to the ballroom for a dinner. Maybe one day in my life. Okay, hey, Marco, JD, whoever, Vivek, when you get in there, put ABL on the list. I know right now it's people that got me blacklisted. I know who they are. It's not Trump's fault. It's people that's like, gatekeepers. They want to blacklist me. But when y'all come in, fire them and hire better people and bring me back into the White House. That'd be great. But I know for sure I'm not going to go play no basketball with JD Vance on a basketball court. I got a better chance of going to the ballroom having a dinner in a tuxedo. Thank you to Michael, who says President Trump is paying for the ballroom on his own. He's not using tax revenue. I ain't gonna say that. I don't know if I can say that. Can you say that? Piss ants? Is that a cuss word? Anyway, Big Rocks, Little Rocks, great name, by the way, says, my friend, did you see the Indian doo-doo match? I did not see that. I don't want to watch that. Well, I've seen that, but I didn't see no new video. Michael Guest says, yeah, let's listen to Tattoo from Fantasy Island. That was crazy. The dude with the N-word stuff. That was the craziest contrast between what reality is and what they wanted to be the narrative. The narrative was, oh, he's poor, he's blind, he's so weak and fragile. Reality was N-word this and F-bomb that. That was the reality. Michael Crislow says, irony, Obama scolded black men for not supporting a black woman in the last election. Now he's coming to Virginia to urge people not to vote for the black woman. Exactly. Remember that? I like, man, if you don't get up out of here, Barack Obama, you are so... Obama, you need to just sit down somewhere. Just enjoy Big Mike and the boys you have come by the house. That the dude you were... that the body man Reggie used to play basketball with, and then the dark-skinned dude that came to be... Okay, I'm saying too much. But just enjoy your life. Don't be in politics, because now you're hypocritical. You've extinguished your race card. It's like a fire extinguisher. You extinguished it. You've all the contents of the extinguisher are gone. Anyway, Michael Guest says, deplane. That gets to Ambrose T for becoming an ABL supporter. That gets Ryan Henderson, who says, ABL, those YN in Oakland love that chicken. Thank you to Marshall, who says, new day, new scum, saying Marxism. Thank you to Ryan Henderson, who says, Kamala is not done. She still have a lot of drinking to do. Yeah, that's right. Hey, that bottle ain't done. Them bottles ain't done. She got to drink. That's right. Mauricio 91 says, liberals act like every nation is like America, and America is the only one with issues, not best in the world. They're crazy. They're totally nuts. And a lot of the leftists, they understand the reality. They just lie. But their followers don't understand what's going on. So you have people that, like the lady that went to Costa Rica, who does not understand that America is the best. She go over there, mosquitoes everywhere, biting her in the hind parts. She catching malaria and stuff like this. She's like, whoa, wait a minute. What's going on? I'm in a third world country right now. Ain't no Starbucks nowhere to be found. I'm going crazy in the morning. This is too much. All right. Thank you to the White Man for gifting 5 ABL memberships. That could Ryan Henderson, who says, if you don't have your ID, probably got a warrant out for you, and then you would need some bail. Exactly. Michael Critchlow says, why is Bernie agreeing to Trump's border wall now? That's a good question. Thank you to Stymie, who says, ABL, people are making their own alcohol. Is that right? That's crazy. What was that? Is it a TikTok routine? How to get drunk for free at your house? Thank you to Ryan Henderson, who says somebody of the old drinkers are dying out and the new supposed drinkers are smoking weed. Exactly. That's what I think. Thank you to Dan Vicious, who says report mass casualty event in Licking County, Pennsylvania. All right, I'll check that out. But shout out to you guys. Let's go ahead and get to some calls. Again, the number to call, 706-406-3287. And the number is right there in the ticker, 706-406-3287. And then the number is also in the description box always. All right, let me turn that on and let's get rocking and rolling. Yeah, Starbucks, all of them coffees. Hey, around here, if you open a coffee shop, it can be a shed, literally a shed, and you put coffee shop in front. It could be a cardboard sign written with magic marker, coffee shop in the shed. you will get customers in the morning. Oh, for sure. Hey man, y'all with them Starbucks, it's like they serving heroin out of them little sheds. Anyway. Your line speaker to 509.
Good evening, good sir. How you doing, Anthony?
I'm doing well. About yourself?
I'm doing great. Former Portland, LE here. I was wondering, should we talk about Portland, or what could we delve into tonight?
Whatever you want, boss. It's up to you.
Okay, I'm going to do former Portland. One of my mentors back in the early 90s, we went and we read both the criminal and civil complaints against white supremes, the Metzgers and the Butzkers and all that BS from North Idaho over here. And we read the civil, and this is a black pastor mentor of mine. He says if you actually read the civil, it was going to trounce on First Amendment rights. And interesting, it was an interesting thing that I read at the Pioneer Courthouse Square back in the early 90s. And that was Mulugita Sarah, the Somalian immigrant that was Doc Martin here by some white Supremes over here in Portland. And anyways, it was a black pastor that says, hey, look at the civil, where they have to have just a preponderance of the evidence, 51%. And that was kind of his first realization that, man, this First Amendment thing is going to be going away really quickly. And like I said, I don't laud that the white supremacist bullshit was crappy, especially with the Mulugita Sarah over here in Portland. If you ever get a chance, kind of do a little bit of research on that, and maybe we can talk about it a little bit later. But anyways, that's probably a little bit in depth. Anyways, just research that. Anyways, would you like, are you a Marianne or Ginger?
Am I what now?
Gilligan's Island, Marianne or Ginger?
I've no idea. I've never in my life seen it. I've never seen it before in my life.
Oh, the Gilligan's Island, Marianne or Ginger, they always have this, which one was the most famous or the one that we loved more than anybody?
I'm a little bit too young.
Oh, not Gilligan's Island. Okay. Well, I was just going to say, my mother passed away on December 25th of 2020 from dementia at home. She was able to do that, but Marianne was from the Gilligan's Island. She rest in peace. 5 days later, December 30th of 20, and the mainstream media spin was famous actress passes away from, COVID related or whatever. No, she passed away from dementia. It was all a scamdemic, like you said, and it was all fear, what they were pushing down our throats, the CNN death counter and all that crapola. Anyway. But, December 25th, you remember that day, I'm sure.
Yes.
20. Yes, sir. Hey, I guess that's all I got to say tonight. Sorry I was a little bit long-winded, but you take care, and thank you for all the good work that you do, my friend.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
You take care, Anthony.
All right, shout out to the caller. Yeah. Nah, like I've seen, I guess, like little clips from that show, but that show came out in the 60s. Like I have seen some old shows, but not Gilligan's Island. I've never seen that before. I've seen Dick Van Dyke and Mary Tyler Moore when I was like a little boy, but I never seen Gilligan's Island. I know they playing from clips online, but I've never seen the show. Who wants to speak to you online? 623.
Hey, ABL, it's Steven. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
Oh, man, I'm doing great. It's a good show tonight. I think everybody's well entertained, man. What's it called? On immigration, I try to tell people a lot, too, like, it's not just an American problem. Like, because I don't know if any of you have seen, like, France and Canada are kind of having problems with their immigration. So in the middle of all the problems all the countries are having, I'm like, there's a difference between like immigrating and the government trying to like inundate and overwhelm, you know, whether it be government systems or crime and cops being like, can't handle it. So, yeah, it's a bigger problem than I think people realize, and it's not just our problem. So I try to make people realize that around me and stuff. And then too, it causes like the Ilhan Omars and the Mondamis, and even Obama, his presidency was corrupted kind of by his father's dream, if you read his book or listen to him read it. So I think it was just, we got to be careful with that. And then I like Patrick Bet-David, but I wouldn't really want him to be a governor if it means Ilhan Omar could do it, because you see how dangerous her ideals are. But yeah, I just want to get your thoughts on that, and thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yep, have a good one.
I'm kind of confused. I don't know how Patrick Bet-David would be linked to Ilhan Omar. I guess because they Muslim, but it's different ideology. That's the key. 859 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, how's it going? I've been listening to the show, Luciferian Libertarian here, just working as usual, losing weight, gaining some muscle, working out as usual, the combination of Hami Ali and Anton LaVey. So I've been listening to the show, and I hear all these liberals crying about the ballroom, but Obama made a basketball court. They didn't cry about that. I don't care about the ballroom, and why they're so focused on this compared to like the real issues that we've been having in this country.
Well, they got to focus on the ballroom because they don't have anything else. They try to, and they try to say it in a way that'll make you think that he's spending taxpayer money on the ballroom. It's just a way to deceive the American people, as per usual.
That's always the case. I heard of the recent report of human traffickers recently in the report. And some media sources were talking about they were trying to purposely grab mothers to harvest their children, and they care more about a ballroom. Really?
It's crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, they hate the guy so bad. If you hate him so bad, then just ignore him. But clearly, I mean, they always have some weird agenda, and they don't care. They don't care. The media doesn't care. These politicians don't care. They don't care about the people. They only care about throwing shade on the other side, and it's downright silly. And you know what? Hopefully you can have somebody in office that, regardless of Republican, Democrat, we just need something to crack down on the human trafficking and the real slavery. All these people who scream about slavery back a long time ago. Well, there's trafficking now today, and instead of blaming the race card, how about the innocent victims who are like kids who had to deal with this issues and stuff like that? Fight against real slavery. And hey, thank you very much for taking my phone call, ABL. Much love and much appreciate your phone call and your respect, bud.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, man. I'm gonna go back to work and enjoy my time.
All right.
All right.
All right. Shout out, man, for the call. I appreciate him. And then I gotta correct myself. Patrick Bet-David is not a Muslim; he's a Christian. But Patrick Bet-David comes from Iran originally, so I guess that I was trying to link together, why would Patrick Bet-David be mentioned with Ilhan Omar? Because Iran is a Muslim country, but Patrick Bet-David is Christian. Let's be clear, he is a Christian. Let's keep on going. You know, I'm speaking to 310.
It's 310. How you doing? It's Ron from Georgia. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. About yourself?
Oh man, it's another great week. Oh, buddy, I love it that they want to talk about the ballroom and everything, but he's doing a great job. It's going to be an awesome ballroom. I love what I'm seeing there. Like I said, it's better than a basketball court that we can't use. I mean, he built that for himself. You know what I'm saying? I mean, how many dignitaries going to come over there from Russia and play Obama some basketball? Zero. So and nobody said anything about that. And same thing about the green garden that Miss Obama was doing, making her cucumbers and turnips or whatever she was growing over there, so that people in the school lunch can throw that away when they wanted the cafeteria hamburgers instead of their vegetables that you're trying to force feed them with, so these people just don't have nothing to talk about, so they have plenty to complain about, and they just look for things to complain about. Same thing about Newscomb. He's very animated about the DOJ talking about we might have some election people watching the elections over there, and he's very animated about that because of the the voting that might go in because they're trying to make the fix in apparently, and so this is going to keep all those illegal ballots coming in directly. But then again, next thing they got the access plan of all the mail-in votes that go into every house, even if nobody's there. So it's crazy. It's crazy that he's very animated about that because he can't get his plan 100% in work, so it might just fall a little bit. We'll see what happens. But he's very animated about the DOJ coming into his state. Talking about it's a California thing, is not a federal thing. Okay, so we already know what that's all about. It's like I said, it's just exactly what he's trying to do is try to hold up what's going on in elections. California is very corrupt in that sense. But yeah, we Americans, we're on the upswing. And like I said, the lady that left the country and found out, she said she wished she could get back. She's trying her hardest to get back, but there's no social programs over there to get you back. There's no free money over there. You got to make that money. How you gonna go over to Costa Rica and don't know the language? She would have did better trying to go to Europe. But just like that brother said, he hated over there in Europe. The one that got deported, he hates it over there because he says it's a third world country. The way it's going, there's trash everywhere. He said he can't wait, but he said he don't fault America. He said now he makes him more loving America because he realized, of the whole thing about America first. He understands that. And more Americans need to understand the same thing, the blessing that we have here in our country, even with our problems. It's a blessing to be here. We every American won the lottery ticket for being born here. And that was it. We won. We are winners for being in America. Because we could have been born in Africa, being chased by a lion right now. But no, we're in America. God bless America. And you know what? We're living in the crazy times right now. When you got the libs trying to tell us that no bail. The bail is racist. No, it isn't. You know what's racist? What's damaging to our country is people that's not being held in account. I think that's what's racist. What they're doing to the American people, releasing these criminals back on the streets to harass and kill our American citizens who are legally and lawfully conducting their lives. This is the problem. What they have, nobody's been held in account, and these people need to be held in account. I was looking at old Dragnet thing, and I remember, at the end of the day, they say, "Hey, what happened with the case? What happened with the case? They people got, 1 year, 5 years, 20 years, and that's their sentence. It's not no plea deal. It's not that. That's where they got to go. 20 years in San Quentin. These people need to be held. I'm talking about for simple stuff, purse snatching. That was 1 year. Purse snatching. What we got right now? Purse snatching, you just slap on the wrist. No, they need to be, people need to get their mind right, and we need to go ahead and do this, just to get the people right. Hard times are coming, and people just got to get back and pray and get their mind right because, that's what we need to do. But anyway, I don't want to go ahead and get on around getting all excited, get my blood pressure up and everything like that because I get on a tirade. But, beloved, I just love you, and I love everybody in the chat. Mr. Ray today, but you know what? Brother, you keep doing the Lord's work, man, and I'm keep praying for you, keep praying for our president, our country, and everybody that stands up for righteousness. So God bless you, my brother. Have a good night.
Thank you for the call. I appreciate you.
You too, sir.
Great call. Fantastic call. Let's keep rocking and rolling here. Let's go to 815 in the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, ABL. This is Sherry. I haven't called for a while. I'm not calling about what you talked about tonight, but what I am calling about is Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens and what happened over the weekend. And I just feel like there's more to it than everybody says. And it's a big, they want to make it into a big conspiracy, but at the end of the day, Candace will find out, and she is finding out, and the truth will come out. And what do you think about that? That's what I want to know about, what you have to say about it, if you wouldn't mind.
Okay, I've not really been following all of the updates from what Candace has been saying, but I just feel like when the smoke clears, when it's all said and done, we're going to get down to the bottom of it.
Right. I feel the same way, but I there's a lot of conspiracies going on around out there, and that's what I'm saying. Like with the, I know it's got to do with the Zionist thing, and that's what's been coming up, and there's been a lot of people that have been putting out with the videos with him being shot behind the neck, and it's going to come out no matter what anybody wants to say. It's going to come out. That this is not going to be another JFK. This is going to be the truth. That's what I believe, and that's all I got to say about that.
Right on. Well, thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Have a good night.
Same to you. Yeah, Candace, I mean, I see like a lot of updates. Like on my social media, I see people updating, talking about Candace said this, Candace said that. I don't watch nothing that she put out. And it's not because I don't like Candace. First of all, I don't listen to female podcasts at all. And that includes Candace. Nothing against you, Candace. You're great. And you're probably going to see this. You're great. You're fantastic. I'm always support you, but I don't listen to her podcast at all. But I feel like if there's more to the story, she gonna find it. And she will not rest until she does. And like I said before, you want someone like that on your side. If something were to happen to you, God forbid, you would want someone like Candace to stick up for you. That's what I'm saying. So whether she right or wrong, I don't even know. I don't even be watching it.
Rest until she does.
630, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's up, ABL? This is Ben.
All right, Ben, what's happening?
Man, I just want to talk about the gambling because I feel like that's the big issue. And these companies, the state, the leagues, they just, they want to be on the outside and not get their hands dirty, but they're all making money. And when you get involved with that, your hands are going to get dirty eventually, and it's going to show. And it's showing a little bit now.
Yeah, man. I think that ultimately this is going to shake a lot of the sports world, all the sports gambling, because if it's a widespread issue with players, referees, coaches, etc., gambling, then that ruins the integrity of the game. And if the integrity of the game is ruined, then how can you have a betting apparatus attached to it?
Yeah, it's interesting to kind of debate whether it's sports or, sports entertainment and like the WWF or WWE and all that. It's so pervasive now. You see it on all this advertising, guys are talking about it. Guys are talking about it at work. It's just with the fantasy football. And then, you got all these apps, and it takes seconds to make a big bet, whether it be hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. It's so pervasive nowadays. And I mean, there's so many gambling apps, you got ones with cryptos and all this stuff. And now all these leagues are coming out acting like they're concerned, they're concerned about their bottom lines, and, they want to act like they're not involved. But we see the ads, and if you got a brain, you can put two and two together.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, if you had another opportunity to bring something up, I wanted to talk about some of these young influencers. Do you think some of them are like plants? Because it seems like some of them, they just get like these huge collaborations and they just kind of blow up out of nowhere. Next thing you know, they're doing collaborations with like famous people, and they're easily just thrust into the spotlight. Maybe they're controlled by, some people that are older.
Well, there are plants, of course. There are people that are like, okay, I won't even say plant because it's not like they're trying to hide it. Okay, you got an influencer and they, let's say Turning Point USA, for example, and that one dude, Brilliant or whatever, they're trying to promote him. And they're not making it a secret because they tell you, okay, he's with Turning Point, he's doing this and he's doing that. So that one is not really that big of a deal. You have people that are like that, where they're sponsored by people and they're trying to get them to a certain place. There's also people who are here who are plants and you don't know it. There's feds working. You had the Proud Boys at one point. They're very popular. Enrique Tarrio was a fed, documented, and it's not even like a conspiracy. He was there for January 6th, but the feds got him the day before. Like they said, okay, you're not going to be involved in the melee because they saw it coming. So there are plants and there are also influencers who have people behind them that you already know and they're not trying to hide it. Also, there's people who are regular influencers and they might get a phone call. Hey, Mr. Influencer, that guy you talking about? Yeah, don't say that. And if you do, it's going to be a problem. They get calls like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of youth that get, a big audience, and, I don't want to be hating on them or anything. If they're making good money, obviously it's good for them, but it just seems like they get famous so quick and so fast, and they're doing these big collaborations, and I wonder if it's like nefarious or, there's some older party controlling ultimately what they do and then what kind of collaborations they get.
Yeah, there definitely is the element of that there. I've seen that. I witnessed it. There's gatekeepers. There are older people behind them, money that you don't see behind them. And also it's about who you know. That's something else. Yep. So yeah, if you know this person and that person and you cool with this person and that guy might be your nephew or your uncle or something like that, it works like that too.
Yep. Yeah. Some things never change in that regard. All right, man. Well, thanks a lot. Good show tonight as always. And I appreciate you taking my call. Have a good evening.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate it. Yeah, shout out to the caller. Some good questions. But I'm going to show you who I'm talking about. Like this kid right here, and nothing against him. Shout out to him. Brilliant Hollyhan. This guy, have you seen him? Yeah, that's an example right there of somebody that is like an influencer who has a backing. Okay, you see him right there on My Brother Tatum, and he'll do the Go Candace. So you see the Turning Point influence, right? Freedom, all like you see kind of what's going on, and it's okay because what happens sometimes is you have an influencer that's doing something and they're building on their own, and then they get approached. Hey, do you want to join this organization? Do you want to join that organization? I've been approached like that, but I always remain independent because sometimes what happens is you can get to a certain level when you join these organizations, but you become controlled to a certain extent. You kind of be your own thing, do your own thing, but then you are in certain places, certain rooms, and you got to be a certain way. I like to be totally independent with no one being able to say that they were able to tell me to do anything. That's how I am. Okay, yeah, they say he's the next Charlie. Nobody can replace Charlie ever. Okay, you a young white guy. Okay, great, fantastic. So what? That don't mean nothing. Charlie was Charlie. Charlie was one of a kind, man. That was my guy, really, man. Like, I think sometimes like they really killed Charlie for real. Like, it's surreal. It's really crazy. It's like on my dad that on Christmas Day. It's like Christmas for real. It's almost funny. It's almost funny. It's like, come on, really? Like, what is it all about? Charlie, you want to kill Charlie in front of the whole world? 31 years old. It's like you can't even really process it properly because it don't make no sense. It's just silly. It's just crazy like that. But and Erica Kirk, I don't like listening to women. So no, I'm good. I'm nothing against Erica, nothing against women, but the Bible say it. I don't want to start preaching, but the Bible say it that the women should not be the teachers. And not teaching men, teaching children, yes, but not men. So I would not follow somebody that I can't really gain nothing from. Following her would be like following Nick Fuentes. And I'm not trying to compare them, but I'm trying to say I can't get anything from him or her, even though she has a better message. I can't get anything from her. This is why I became a YouTuber, is because back in 2015, I was trying to find somebody I could relate to talking politics, and I couldn't find that person. So I was like, you know what? I'll be the person. I didn't follow like one of these daytime people, The View or something like this. That existed back then, but why would I follow that? I can't learn anything from that. So if I couldn't learn from anything like that back then, how could I do it now? That made no sense. Yeah, and I see some clips of these streamers. I saw Nick Fuentes on a clip on my Twitter, and somebody was trying to tell him about his diet because he keep having like tummy aches and stuff. It's like, bro, tummy aches. See, if I'm gonna say this, I know I'm talking a lot, but if you have an influencer you follow, and they have troubling personal things they got going on, they sick all the time, or they angry all the time, and they don't appear to be very happy, you probably shouldn't be following them and taking what they say seriously, because obviously whatever kind of personal philosophy they got, political philosophy, it doesn't work well for them, because look at them. It's like listening to somebody that's 500 pounds for advice. Look, bro, until you get yourself under control and that fork away from your mouth, you can't tell me nothing. How you going to tell me about anything, about any kind of advice to go forward in my life when you can't even advise yourself? But anyway, shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. You guys are the best. Okay, I'm going to read some of these comments and then I'll wrap it on up, put the bow on top. Let me see. Because I see if you all want to comment on right quick, and then I'll wrap it up. Buster Douglas, okay, I'm not sure what that's about. Tulsi Gabbard, I like Tulsi Gabbard, but I would never, if there's a Tulsi Gabbard podcast, I'm not listening. And nothing against her at all, but I'm not listening. Is Anthony a good person? It's up to you it's up to you. You can just observe me and how I present myself and how I speak and the things that I say, and make your own mind up. You know, it's not up to me to make that decision for you. You could just judge me based upon what I show you. Okay. So you guys agree with that for the most part? Okay. Yeah, you guys agree with that? I would never, if somebody asked me, would I take a dive if I was heavyweight champion? I would never compromise the integrity of sports if I'm playing in the sport. I would never do that. I would never take a dive or point shave because I'm compromising the integrity of the game. Now, if we're WWE, then say that. If it's just entertainment and it's not real and we're not competing, just say that. If it's a script and we're pretty much like playing in the movie, just say that. Don't say that it's real. Don't say there's real competitors when it's not. If it's just a choreographed dance, it's okay. It's totally fine. When I watch a movie and I see actors on television or on the silver screen, I don't think that what I'm seeing is real. I'm looking at a show. It's a performance. I'm going to judge you based upon how good the performance was. I won't judge you based on whether I think that you succeeded over the other person or not, because I know it's not real life. I know it's just a performance. I know it's a script. All right. But shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you heard tonight, if you enjoyed the content in general, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. And I know April Chapman. I know her very well. I met her many times. Great person. I met her kids, her husband. April Chapman is great, but I don't watch April Chapman. But I follow her on social media. Yeah, shout out to her. great. Hey, if you like listening to women talk on podcasts, April Chapman is a great YouTuber, great podcaster. She's fantastic. Great speaker in general. Grace Glass is another one. She's really good. I don't want to name names because I know I'm gonna miss somebody and they're gonna be mad at me. I'm gonna get a text on my phone. Why you ain't say me? Oh, Poplitics. Pop in Politics. I gotta say her because she's great. Okay, that's all I got right now. Those are some really good female conservative podcasts that if you enjoy watching, you could watch. Okay. Now I ain't gonna promote nobody else on my platform because this ain't so what we're gonna do. We ain't gonna be like, okay, well, who else, ABL, should I watch rather than you? Anyway, you guys are the best. I will see you guys next time. But before I wrap it on up, put the bow on top. I just want to say thank y'all for joining. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. You know I couldn't do it without you. Whether you're watching, retweeting, super chatting, whatever you do, I couldn't do it without you. Thank you to the mods for keeping the trolls in check. I appreciate y'all for that as well. You're also listening to an audio streaming podcast. It'll be available on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether that be Google Play, Apple iTunes, Spotify, etc. Link for that will be in the description box, or visit your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. Oh, and of course, Candace Owens is great. Fantastic. That's like my sister. So shout out to Candace Owens. And Pearl is okay. Pearl Davis. I know you're going to see this too, Pearl. Pearl has improved. When she first came out, what she was doing was like a content mill. I didn't like that. But now it's better. You see, I don't like content mills where you just kind of like putting out stuff. I like more deliberate, thoughtful content that is meant to really enrich the person viewing it with knowledge and information, to learn something they didn't know before, to get information presented in the way to where they can really gain something from it rather than just being fed a meal of content. If you got livestock and you feeding livestock corn, the livestock is eating and they're going to get fat, but they're not being fed nutritious meals. Does that make sense? He said we're livestock. Stop being offended. Anyway, that'll be a wrap for me. You guys are great. But until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out and peace.